Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody, all around the globe, hello and welcome to another episode of The Watch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Let's make some noise, everybody. Let's clap it up, get excited in your car, on your job, at your home, wherever you may be. This is the hottest place to be in all of the social media landscape on our show where we talk about everything boxing and beyond. On the Watch Report, and we got a whole bunch of stuff to discuss on today. We have Benavidez and the dream matchup of him between Jai Opetaia in a fight that is very interesting to dictate as to who could actually win that affair, because a lot of people that are starting to believe, that's a step too far for Benavidez, even after what we saw against Zerto Ramirez. I'm going to give my 2 cents on that matter. This has been a hot button topic since we talked about this on Tuesday. Also, we got Inoue and Benavidez as talks are starting to ramp up that fight is in fact going to be the fight that goes down. And because of that, we got to get serious about the conversation as to whether or not we can see Bam get the upset or Inoue reign supreme at this division of 122, and what Bam is really going to be dealing with coming up to this division, and why this fight with Vargas is going to be incredibly important. All that and so much more we have to talk about on this show, like also with Shakur Stevenson, with some interviews that he had over the course of earlier this week, him going about the next steps in his career. What is the next thing that we want to see him achieve as fans in the sport? What's the biggest task that can potentially be the biggest test for one of the biggest technical stars in the world of boxing today? But all of that and so much more we will be discussing on today's episode. We appreciate you tuning in on our live stream. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yes, indeed. Come on, be a part of the hottest show in all the globe and join our empire, join our community, and join the Watch Report with us on today. And also, if you can, hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube, and you can keep up to date with everything that we do on our show, as well as to leave a like on the video. It's the most important thing that has the biggest effect on our channel to reach out to the algorithms all across the globe. You all can help us out in spreading our channel far and wide with one action, and one like makes a world of difference. And also do the most important thing, which is to share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you and your support. Oh, by the way, if you want to also support this channel monetarily, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super chat, super gifts, stickers, and the like, all of which you can help achieve with us, or help us to achieve the goal of being able to make this show bigger, better, and stronger for your viewing and listening pleasure. And everything that we have as a potential on this show is all made possible by you, the viewers at home, all across the globe. So we appreciate your support, and we appreciate you being along for the ride. And hey, we got a bunch of stuff to discuss, and we got a whole lot of debates to delve into. So ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk boxing. It's time to talk sports, and it's time for us to do what we do best, which is to step into the ring. Oh yes, come on, let's get it started. Ring the bell on our show, and round one for our show on today is going to be the likes of, well, actually we can go a multiplicity of ways, and we're going to be completely honest when it comes to where we want to go in this show. I think, though, before we get into the Bam conversation, before we get into the Inoue potential for that matchup, even before we get into the likes of Shakur's development, and even Benavidez versus Jai Opetaia, we need to talk about some of the fights that are happening this week. Yeah, we got some fights happening this weekend, the biggest of which being May 9th, Fabio Wardley versus Daniel Dubois. Oh yeah, it's going down. Two of the biggest heavy hitters in all of the heavyweight division finally duking it out against each other in a literal clash of the titans to go and see who's going to be reigning in a potential position to get Usyk in the ring with them for the undisputed championship of the world. Again, as we know, Usyk fighting Rico Verhoeven. Everybody doesn't want to see that fight. I completely understand. Excuse me. My apologies. Let me take a drink. I'm sipping my coffee real quick. Well, that's good. Oh, that's really good. Oh gosh, I did that right this time. But we have Dubois and Wardley fighting for one of the 4 belts, as Usyk holds the majority, if not all but one of the belts. It'll be the IBF is the one that Wardley and Dubois are fighting for. That fight is going to dictate who reigns in the final matchup for the potential 3rd undisputed opportunity for Usyk to win his titles at heavyweight after he beats, most likely, Rico Verhoeven. Unless something preposterously insane happens and he gets knocked out, he's going to beat Rico. He's going to knock out Rico. It's going to be not even close. And then we're going to see him come back and fight again. Either rematch with Dubois or get the fight with Wardley that we've been saying we wanted to see. But this is the fight between these two. It's for the IBF belt. And this fight is a barn burner of a matchup because somebody is guaranteed to go to sleep in this belt. I guarantee you. I promise you. This isn't a fight. This isn't just a fight. This is a war. This is going to be a war because somebody is guaranteed to not get off the canvas by the time this fight ends. I promise you that. But we got people in the chat that we do want to discuss and talk about. Like with Albert Rear, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the live with us for today. David would beat Opetaia because Opetaia is a lower level, plus they won't fight because of different contracts, plus David not after Super Belt, and David brings a lot of money for Opetaia. Now, we are going to, again, that's going to be one of the bigger major points that we're going to discuss in this show. Give me a chance to talk about Dubois versus Wardley, cover some of the actions coming up on this weekend, because we do need to make, this is a big deal, and then we're going to delve straight into the likes of Jai Opetaia versus Benavidez, because based on what we talked about on Tuesday, we're going to have to delve into this a little bit deeper, because there's a lot of different sides of opinion when it comes to what this fight would ultimately look like when they, if and when, because I think they will get into the ring with each other. And I definitely got some stuff I want to say about that, but give us some time. Let me talk about Dubois and Wardley, and then we'll delve into the meat and potatoes of the we can call it that, the bigger aspects of conversation in this show. But look, with Wardley and Dubois, I have no honesty. If we're going to talk about the breakdown, the prediction of this fight, like, we can do it. We might as well. Because it's a big deal. We are not just going to see two powerhouses. It's going to be who is a better inside fighter. That's literally the story of this fight for one of the 4 belts in the heavyweight division. I'm serious. We think it's just going to be dash and crash, smash and grab type of affair. 2 Hulks going at it, completely throwing bombs at each other up until they potentially gas out by round 8, and then it's just who can stand up to the fatigue and punishment more. It's not just going to be that. This is going to be a question that we've had with Fabio Wardley for a mighty long time. The ultimate moniker of war-driven fighter is who Fabio Wardley is as a heavyweight. And he has not just not ducked any smoke. He's been a man who has been literally learning on the job and has gotten away with being able to succeed in a manner that is incredibly unusual. We're dealing with a man who has the propensity to not just win, but win late and win when he's down. It's been about 2 or 3 fights in his career, back to back to back. We're late in the fight where everything looked like it might be ebb and flow, swinging one way or the other. Next thing you know, he lands a miracle shot. Then he landed it again against Justice Hooney. He landed against David Adelaide. And then he finally landed against the likes of Joseph Parker. Now, that Joseph Parker stoppage, I strongly feel that was premature. That shouldn't have been a stoppage. I completely agree with anybody who holds that same sentiment. That should not have been a stoppage, not at all. But what is, in fact, real is that in this fight, that question of the home run shot is going to be asked more than ever in this fight with Dubois. Because Dubois could potentially put him into a situation where he may not be able to land that go-home blow. Because Dubois, yes, he got knocked out by Usyk. And we completely understand that Dubois is vulnerable to getting caught and getting hurt. We've seen it. But we've also understood that since the resurgence of his fight with Jarrell Miller that started about 2 years ago, that ended with Anthony Joshua winning, knocking out AJ and winning one of the heavyweight titles in a fight that, let's be honest, it was a competitive affair on paper. Two big British men going at it in a heavyweight clash of powerhouses. But everybody thought AJ was going to be able to win. And look at what happened. He dog-walked Anthony Joshua. He did. He dog-walked him. After both of them had revamped their careers with wins that had signified a change in their development. We had watched them both grow, and Dubois showed, hey, I'm the realer deal. Now going up against Wardley, yes, he can get caught, but this Wardley is not Usyk. Wardley, as much power as he has, is not the boxer in that regard. And if it's a fight where it's just head-on collision versus head-on collision, and yeah, technique will go out the window, but it's about who can land the bigger thudding shot and who can hold themselves for longer in the pocket. There's a real danger. Wardley can get caught and Wardley can get knocked out, and he's not able to have the saving grace. Don't forget that Wardley has relied on his chin a majority of his career, a whole bunch. He's young, don't get me wrong, but he started boxing late, and he has been really pushing through into, yes, a boogeyman in this division, but also he's been really pushing himself as a vulnerability that in some way, shape, or form, the Great Wall of Wardley is going to crack, just like we saw with Joseph Parker. And with just like we saw when Joe Joyce went up against Big Bang Jang. At some point in time, there's going to be a punch that's going to say, if you don't get your act together on a technical defensive aspect, I'm going to break you up and break you down. I'm going to rip you asunder, just like Zhang did in both his fights. And then ultimately we were seeing Joe Joyce lose to Derek Chisora, who was supposed to be the next loss that he had, should have been it. And it shouldn't have been. That Wilder was the one to get that loss. It should have been that we thought Joe Joyce was going to be the man to be the last fight for Chisora. But the chin gave out. The chiseling finally broke the mold, literally. And for Dubois, he's got the power to break the mold. He does. He's got the power to break that concrete.
Hey, look at this. We got the problems here.
He's got more than enough power to break up the ground that is the foundational durability of Wardley. It's the very thing that's carried him throughout his entire career. He's even admitted it himself. I'm just a bigger dog than you. Well, now you're dealing with somebody who, if you play that game and you miss, you're going to get dogged out. Here's the real danger. Now, Wardley, he has tried to add better aspects to his game. Like we saw when he fought against Joseph Parker. He's turned into a fighter who I can move. He's not a great mover, but I can move around the ring. I can try to use my jab and length at a better situation. I can do, or at least have tried to do, a multiplicity of things to turn my one-dimensional style into at least a more nuanced system to lead to the same goal. Is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. Because originally I was thinking we would see Daniel Dubois get caught because he doesn't move his head, because he doesn't go through and isn't great defensively. He's a tank, just like we've seen tanks in the past. But in this situation, he's a revamped tank that can carry power late. He can get a second win like he showed against Jarrell Miller. He can eat straight shots straight on like he did against Hergovich. He can recover from getting hurt or knock you out from getting hurt like he got hurt from Anthony Joshua. And if you aren't able to get away from his onslaught, he's got, on the inside, he's got the ability, he can just walk you down and take you out. And just with his full-on strength and power and pressure, puts you in a dangerous situation, like with AJ. That's what Wardley wants to do. That's what Wardley likes to do. I don't care how much you think Wardley has improved as a boxer, By the time round 5 comes around, he's defaulting back to what he knows. I'm an inside fighter. You're going to push me to the ropes. I'm going to punch you off with some big time shots. I'm going to overcommit on stuff. You try to scare you with my power. And I'm going to be as confident as possible. Something's going to land and I'm going to hit you. And I'm going to knock you out. That's what his bread and butter always is. And that, in this fight, it may backfire. So crazy enough, from what I said initially with this fight with Dubois and Wardley, I'm switching my pick. I'm switching my pick. I was going to go with Wardley. He was going to be able to retain his title. But when I look at what exactly makes Wardley Wardley, and you're playing a dangerous game that ultimately, even by your own metrics, you have gassed out, when it came to wars of attrition that you normally win, I'm concerned. I'm really concerned that we're going to see Wardley can finally meet the match to knock him out and stop him. It's going to be crazy to say. I'm going to pick Wardley, I'm going to pick Dubois, potentially in an upset, to knock out Wardley. I'm going to do it. 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 I'm picking Dubois. I'm picking Dubois. It's crazy. I know, but I'm picking Dubois. I have to. It's only because Dubois is a better, more dangerous inside fighter than Wardley. And when push comes to shove, especially if it comes to shove after round 8, I'm more confident in Dubois carrying his stamina and power. Then I'm confident in Wardley losing or keeping not just his power, but also keeping his stamina. Because that technique gets mighty sloppy. Hail Mary shots come aplenty. And when the Hail Mary shots come, that's when you start hearing the echoes. Because now you're starting to fall back into a void. Like you did with Joseph Parker before you ultimately landed that shot. Like you did with Justice Honey before you ultimately landed that shot. It's going to fail you at some point. And I think this style is the style to make you fail in this regard. At least to me. Again, at least to me. That's just my opinion. That's my thoughts. That's just my MO when it comes to how I think this fight's going to go. Yeah, for real. For real. And I think we're going to see. I think we'll see Dubois beat Wardley. I think we'll see him beat Wardley. I really do. Let me see. I'm in Roda. How you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the line with us today. Let's see what you got on our show and what your conversations are. Wardley and Dubois is a crazy fight. No, it is a crazy fight. It's a wild fight. It's a ridiculous fight. Also, please, if you haven't, leave a like on the stream. It makes a world of difference to us and our channel, and it helps us to go and reach the whole of the social media landscape. It makes everybody want to tune in to see what we got going on. It draws people in to our show, so please keep on smashing the like button if you haven't already. But this fight is a wild fight. It's a ridiculous fight. It's insane to think about that we're getting these two. It really is real. It's insane. It really is an insane thought to think about that we're having these two step in the ring against each other when both of them are still crazy young. Relatively young. It's a dangerous fight. We've seen fights like this avoided because it's two people that are just, it's two rams butting heads with each other. That's literally what it is. It's not going to be a technical affair. See, people need to understand. This is not going to be a great, sweet science fight. Well, actually, no, people do understand it. It's not going to be a great sweet science fight. They get there. I don't think they understand just how violent this is going to be. I don't think they understand just how dangerous this fight's going to become. If we see that both of them are just able to, oh, shoot, I can stand up to you. It's going to get bloody. It's going to get really bloody. Really, and we're going to see something tested about Fabio Wardley. This isn't about Daniel Dubois as much as it is about Fabio Wardley. Fabio Wardley has been on a a, a very intriguing, violent road, which I completely understand. But there's a question about what if the X factor that he brings to the table doesn't work? What can he do? That's been a big concern for a lot of people when it comes to him as a fighter. And he's about to get that answer one way or the other. This is going to be that fight that answers all of that. That answers the one biggest question in his career. If your power doesn't work, what can you do? If you get desperate and you do get behind the 8 ball, like you've gotten behind in the last 2 fights of your career, we call you the UK Deontay Wilder. It's perfectly fine. You're an exciting fighter. You got one hitter quitter type power. You've broken Frazier Clark's jaw. You've done damage to a bunch of people. But we've seen you outclassed at your own game. Twice. I'm sorry, 3 times. The most recent being Joseph Parker before you ultimately got the win. And this time, this win, people got some problems with because they don't even feel that you should have beaten Joseph Parker because you, just like in the fight with Justice Tony, got outboxed and Joseph Parker was not hurt. So you're dealing in a dangerous situation now where you've crossed over. You're going to need more than just will to potentially get the fights done from this point on. It's going to be, you need that and more. Does he have it? I don't know. That's what we're going to find out. Let me see. Wardley might knock out Dubois. Like I said, I got Dubois knocking out Wardley because if this fight goes late and Dubois takes Wardley's power and is able to survive, and he's shown the capacity to one-punch KO a fighter when he is also in danger. He's got everything built to beat Wardley. And if we see Wardley on the back foot early, with how he throws his shots with such reckless abandon, Dubois, crazy enough, isn't that. It isn't bad at operating in chaos when it comes to landing shots. Just look at what he did to Hergovich. When a volley of straights kept on coming his way. 3, 4, 5, 6 straight punches back to back. When the pressure was on, he wasn't so stressed out. He was also not stressed out when he fought against Jarrell Miller. Remember when Jarrell Miller was pouring it on him? And it was like, oh, he about to wane. He about to quit again. That was the moniker. And then you see him go through and dominate the second half of the fight and turn it around. And no matter how much Jarrell Miller amped up his own pace, we kept seeing Dubois stay not just calm, but still looking for opportunities to land. So I'm like, all right, so I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see him get this win. And it might be an upset for a lot of people because they think Wardley is that dog, and he is a dog, but it could be. I think we're going to see Dubois stop this train. And it's going to be an awakening of, okay, this is what it means to be at the top for Wardley. Now, if Wardley wins, hey, I ain't got nothing to say except for, hey, the buddy did it. That's it. There's nothing else to say. But if he can't, there's some good reason as to why. I think the majority, also, Daryl Anderson, how you doing? Good to see you. We thank you for being on the show with us today. Daryl Anderson, I think the majority of people are undermining Inoue's win over David's win. And like I said, we're going to discuss this later on. Trust me, we're going to come back to this conversation. We're just covering Dubois and Wardley first, and then we're going to delve into everything with Inoue, Bam, Inoue and Benavidez and that whole win conversation. Benavidez and Jai Opetaia. We're going to have a lot to discuss, don't get me wrong, because we about done with this Dubois second right now. So let me see, Two-Tone, what happened with Two-Tone? Two-Tone said Inoue fight sucked. He wasted his time watching it. David should be pound number 1. Now what type of message? Okay, yeah. Okay, it sounds like we need to address this now. So you know what? This will be my final thing. I got Dubois winning. I got him winning by knockout in round 10. That's what I have. If we see Wardley get a win in this fight, this will answer some questions to me that I have been needing to answer for a mighty long time. If Wardley does not get this fight done, I would advise for him to take some fights, at least 2, against people that aren't great at heavyweight, and get some better technical ability. Because at this level, even though Dubois is not the best technical fighter, to beat him, you need that. Or you're going to need that in a better way than what I see Wardley have right now. And if that's the case, great. If it's not the case, Wardley's better than I thought. But we're going to find out on this Saturday. But I got Wardley beat, on this Saturday, we're going to find out May 9th. But I got Wardley losing, getting knocked out by Daniel Dubois in a potential upset matchup, depending on how you feel of Wardley being a better fighter than Dubois. But that's my opinion, that's my pick, and that's my thoughts. And now we're delving into the next step of conversation. Dubois might go to sleep. Look, a lot of people saying that, but I think we're going to see Dubois win. I think we're gonna see a win. Also, what's that? Kingdom. Yo, what's good with you? And thank you. We appreciate the $10 super chat on our show. Clap it up. And we love the support. We love the adulation. We love the homes to the empire on our show. We appreciate it oh so much, and we love to have you back on our stream. Let's see what you got to say on today. Let me see. Let me take off this echo real quick. There we go. Sorry, I've been MIA, Welch. Been dealing with some major health issues, but now progressing and getting better. I pray that you are well, and glad you're still doing what you're doing, giving us the best content. Hey, look, man, we whatever's going on with you, we're praying that everything's going good, and we're glad to hear stuff is improving. Hey, man, look, you fighting, you working, you thriving in the midst of animosity and danger. This is what we about in this community. We gonna make sure that not just you built for just boxing type of sentiments, but we trying to instill some fervor. You a fighter. We all fighters out here. And doggone it, I'm glad to hear that you winning. You pushing through. You taking the reins of whatever you're dealing with and you turning it into your favor. This is what we value in the community. This is what we want to see on a night to night, day to day, and every episode type basis. This is what this community is all about. Surrounding and uplifting. So we're happy to see you back, man. Look, you take all the time that you need, whatever you may be going through. We're just happy to hear that you got it, that you pushing, you winning, you thriving, and you working like we know you can work. Cause you a dog, brother. You a dog, all of y'all dogs. Nobody again, slight inspirational moments. We don't try to make this all so. We don't try to force this stuff, but it's real. Like we in this thing together in every facet of life, and we don't know what anybody may be going through. Guess what? It don't matter. Because we all pushing for the same thing, brother. We going to win one way or another. Doggone it. And this is the perfect example of it. So I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I'm glad to hear everything's going fine. And we're going to keep giving you the best content possible, at least to the best of my ability. And we appreciate the kind words. And again, the $10, you didn't have to support the channel. And again, if you want to support, hey, you can follow in the Kingdom's footsteps and keep on giving and keep on donating to the channel with whatever means you can provide. But if not, simply hitting the like on hitting like on the video and subscribing is the best thing you can do to join this community, because we got people just like Kingdom, just like Anderson, and everybody else who's in this chat. I've been voting others who we are dogs, brother. We more than soldiers, brother. We killers. We monsters, all of us. And I guarantee you, we bring the fervor, and whatever we go through, we fight and we win, regardless of which. So we're glad to see you here, and we can't hear your chat. We can't wait to keep on hearing your chats on our show as we continue to delve into the world of boxing and beyond. But we appreciate the donations, no question about it. But let me see. But now we got. Yo, Sean, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Salute to you, and we appreciate you on stream with us for today. We're glad y'all are here. We're getting ready to switch gears. We talked about Dubois versus Wardley. I had Wardley losing to Dubois and potentially considered an upset matchup because a lot of people seem to be high on Wardley with him being the reigning, I believe, IBF champion. So we're going to find out what happens on Saturday night, or rather Saturday afternoon if you're over here in the States. But I think we're going to see Dubois get this win and show that Wardley still has some growth to happen. If we see Wardley win, Give him Usyk. Straight up. Give him Usyk. Give him Usyk. Yeah, that's what we want. Give him Usyk. If we don't get Usyk versus Caballero, give Usyk versus Wardley. Because he deserved the shot, and we want to see the shot. But either way, let me keep on going through and read the chats, because we had people like with Anderson talking about Inoue's win over essentially Inoue's win over the likes of Nakatani, not getting the same respect as Benavidez versus Zerda. Because apparently people like Two-Tone the Adult have been saying stuff like this. He wasted his time watching Inoue Nakatani, and Benavidez should be number one and all this stuff. And like we said, we're switching gears. Where's that? I think this goes into the conversation of Inoue versus Bam, which is still, this is the current second segment of our show. But this delves into this also. Part of the reason why that fight with Inoue and Bam, it's so big now, isn't just because we got to see Bam, or we got to see Inoue beat Nakatani. It's not just because of that. It's also because people were underwhelmed by the fight with Inoue and Nakatani. That's the issue. It's not disappointment. They expected war with Inoue versus Nakatani in the way that we saw Zerto versus Benavidez, but on both sides of the spectrum being knockdown, drag-out brawls. But it wasn't like that. It was pugilistic perfection on both fronts. Sean Zito, prominent boxing pundit and journalist, said the same thing. It wasn't the war I thought we would get. Some people are saying it didn't really crack this, or rather scratch the itch I thought it would when it came to this type of mega fight. And Zerto and Benavidez, we were talking even Tuesday. We tried to delve into it, and everybody was saying, "Hey, brother, we know Inoue's good. We know Inoue's great. Hey, he won. Whatever. Let's talk about the real big fight of the night." The shock value of Benavidez, yeah, it overwhelmed what we saw from the likes of whatchamacallit, Inoue. It did. It's a shock. Don't forget the same year, that 2023, when Inoue beat Stephen Fulton, a couple of months after Terrence Crawford fought Errol Spence Jr. Now, after that fight happened, the shock of Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence overshadowed whatever momentum that we were seeing Inoue have against Stephen Fulton. And that was months apart from each other. This fight was the same day. The same day. And so, I get it. But the grandeur of the moment still applies, and it shouldn't be disrespected. If you think you waste your money watching that fight, I'm going to say this. I don't know why you like to watch Shakur. Well, let's talk about it. For real, let's talk about it. Also, before I continue, Sean, I think Dubois will be winning until Wardley catches him. That's the thing. Like I said, if Wardley catches him, but it doesn't work, especially late, when we've seen Dubois carry better stamina, and if Wardley gets too far behind and needs that Hail Mary shot, we're getting into the danger zone where we don't know if he can do that and rely on that by itself at this level. That's the issue. And we're going to find out. But going back to the whole tone conversation and the rhetoric surrounding, like I said, I'm not throwing shots at anybody. I'm not throwing shots at Two-Tone, Two-Tone the superstar, or some people got something to say about Showbiz the Adult, or Blue Blood TV, or whatever the world we at, other podcasters and social media names throughout the space in boxing and beyond. We understand. I'm not here trying to throw no grudges. I'm not here trying to throw no shots. I'm simply saying what they say is indicative of also the pulse of what upset the people do feel. And we need to answer that, because it is a relevant conversation. It builds into the pound-for-pound level stardom that we've been arguing with Benavidez, Inoue, Bam, and others. If you don't like what you saw with Inoue versus Nakatani, and you said that wasn't worth your money, anybody who feels that sentiment, why do you watch Shakur And why did you support Shakur for as long as you did? Why is Devin Haney getting so much support saying he should be above the likes of Nakatani or top 5 when this is the very way, though it's not, again, with all due respect to Devin Haney, this type of back and forth in a technical savant, that was some of the best work we had seen this year, period, from both of them on a technical level. You doggone right. That was insane to witness. And we know what we appreciate about technical boxing. That was beautiful technical work, and it was tense. And it also turned into, in the last 3 rounds, an actual, okay, hey, the war that we thought was going to happen actually did happen after round 8. So we got both. But you don't like that because you said it wasn't entertaining, but you love Devin Haney. And the biggest thing about Devin Haney is that people don't like the way that he fights because he's boring, quote unquote. Not even quote unquote. He's boring. He even decommits himself to the work that he's already done, like he did when he fought against Brian Inoue Jr., and he willingly backed off after round 6 when he had knocked him down, when he was using his jab, when he wasn't moving around the ring, but actually consistently trying to score. And then after round 6 and on, he kept on clinching up. He just held. That's all he did. He did not try to build on his own work. He just sat on the win. That's not entertaining at all, yet we love to see that, and that's pugilistic perfection. Shakur, before what we saw with Inoue Debate, everybody was saying, you ran against De Los Santos. You're a runner. You don't finish fights. You don't get knockouts. You got brittle hands. We go to sleep when we watch you fight. You're boring. Was that not the very sentiment? I'm not trying to use this to go and throw shots. I'm saying it's hypocritical, especially when that brand of boxing for Inoue and Nakatani was some of the highest level that we've had in the sport over the past 5 years. That's what high-level competition with people that want to take chances but understand the other brother is as big of a killer as him. That's what that looks like. And guess what? Most likely, Bam and Inoue, it's going to look like that too. Most likely. It's going to look like that too. I think people fail to understand. That fight is going to look like that as well. For probably the first 5 rounds. It's going to be that same level of high tense animosity against each other. I'm scared to throw. Well, not scared to throw. I respect you because of what you can do if I throw. And you respect me because of what I can do if you throw. We got to slowly build into this moniker of offensive firepower because of the danger that both of you all pose against each other. It's going to be like that. Why are you surprised? Or why are you saying it's boring? This is what you asked for. You were telling the public we were not giving enough respect to technical prowess. We have people on this very channel. And again, I'm keeping the echo because I want y'all to understand what I'm saying. But I'll take it off for now. You have people on this channel coming at me saying, I hate Shakur. I hate Devin Haney. You only like people that stand and bang. Go back and look at the chats we've had on this channel. Go back and look at the response that we've had. People have been telling me, I only like inside fighters. I only like people that go and get knockouts. I don't respect the technical abilities of boxing. That's preposterous. If you follow this channel, that's one of the most ignorant things you can say. Yes, my favorite style is a Joe Frazier style. That's my favorite fighter. And sure, who doesn't like somebody who's aggressive and goes for a KO? Benavidez has been one of my favorite fighters for over 3 years. Crawford been a killer that's been doing work like that, but people didn't give him respect up until after he beat Errol Spence. But I love watching it. And I love watching Shakur. It doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting what you bring to the table. But my gosh, how can you say that? And you say that people like the Haney's or Shakur'S or the Richardson Hitchens and all these other people are getting disrespected because y'all don't care about real boxing, technical work. And then you go through, and now when you see technical work at the highest level with Inoue and Nakatani, all of a sudden you say that fight's not entertaining. See, that just sounds like agenda push. That just sounds like bias. That I don't call people haters often. That just sounds like hate, regardless of who says it. Regardless of who said, True Tone, True Blood, what was it? Is it True Blood TV? I don't care if it's Southpaw. I don't care if it's Stephen A. Max Kellerman. I don't care if it's Devin Haney himself. If that sounds like hate on anybody who says that, if that's the standard that you hold of what boxing should and should not look like, it's ridiculous. So don't bring that. Because Inoue and Bam most likely is going to look like that as well. It'll probably start up picking up steam earlier because Bam is a more aggressive fighter than Nakatani. But it doesn't mean it's not going to be for the first couple rounds, waiting, feinting, jabbing. That's going to be the thing. Why is it that that's a problem all of a sudden when Inoue does it, but it wasn't a problem at all when that's how Devin Haney or Shakur or Richardson and Hitchens were winning all of their fights? Why? It sounds like it's just a agenda push. To me, it sounds like agenda pushing. I don't like that. But let me see. Do you think it's possible we are giving Benavidez too much credit for beating Zurdo? Maybe Zurdo isn't what we thought and gets crammed or gets creamed by the likes of Jai and people. Now, again, Matt Borgeson, we appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you for coming in on the show with us today. And we value your thoughts and opinion. And we appreciate the alms to the empire once again on our channel. Welcome back to you, no question. And this is, again, all of this bleeds into the Inoue Nakatani, or the Inoue Bam conversation that we're having right now. But like I said, we're also going to be discussing Benavidez. We can kind of flip back and forth between the topics because this honestly, this question can kind of flow into both. What was that? What's that? There we go. This question kind of bleeds into both sentiments. But with Benavidez, David Benavidez beat Zurdo and deserved all the respect. I don't think he should be seen as he beat an overrated fighter. We've done that too many times with fighters. When Inoue beat Stephen Fulton, it was Stephen Fulton's overrated. How was he ever a pound-for-pound level contender? What was all the noise about him being this type of dog when in fact he got steamrolled and didn't win a round in the entire fight and got knocked out? He's never been that good. That was the conversation with him. For real. People were reevaluating Terrence Errol Spence Jr. after he got beat by Terrence Crawford and saying, was he that good? Every time we've had somebody beat in this type of fashion, a dominant force in the division, the question is always the same. Were they really that good? And the answer is yes, they were. They were. The only one that really sticks out in the mind as to they weren't really as good as we thought was, to me, Regis Prograis. And that was because the knockout power was what carried his name. And the threat level, he was the most dangerous puncher at 140 at that point in time. That's real. But the skill level, that was overblown. I can vouch for that. That's a rare instance. Most of the other times, no. This deserves the respect and the shine. Because Zurdo, mind you, if it wasn't the pound for pound, number 5 or number 6 fighter in the world, Zurdo wasn't losing to anybody at this point. And if it wasn't Jai Opetaia at his own division of cruiserweight, we weren't looking at anybody else that was competitive that could beat Zurdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. I don't think we're overblowing it as this is not as good of a win as some people may feel. I truly believe this is real. He's that good. Could Jai go and beat him? Yes. Also, the question is, if you're basing it off of could Jai knock out and run through like Cesaro Ramirez, you also got to ask, can he do what Benavidez did? Because Zerto's going to be able to do things against Jai that he wasn't able to do against Benavidez. Like pivoting a whole lot more. Using lateral movement and getting behind or around his opponent a whole lot more. He wasn't able to do that against Benavidez. Benavidez took that option away. But go look at the fight with Zerto against Smith or Zerto against Dracus. I think that's his name, Dracus, in the most recent fight before this fight. He was able to box in a circle while still coming forward. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but he was walking around his opponent while still pressing the pace in both of those fights, but using angles that the opponents could not adapt to. And they were giving them to him. And we've seen Jai Opetaia get put in dangerous situations, like with was it Nakia? Was it Nakia? Nakaya? Nikatia? What was his name? Who was the buddy that he fought in his last fight that he went and got rocked twice? And he got rocked twice and knocked the dude out ultimately in a knockout of the year. What was his name? It was Nika. That's what it was. David Nika. That's all. I think it was David Nika who he ultimately knocked out in dramatic fashion. But he got put on the back foot, and I think that was the fight where he got caught with something serious. For real. So I would say, I don't think we should overlook this as, oh, it's a fluke or oh, it's not that great. No. It is that great with what we witnessed. He is that good of a fighter. For real. It's just the fact that Benavidez is that good. And great fighters make other great fighters look good. That's really what we saw. Benavidez made a legit great fighter. At least if you want to categorize it for the cruiserweight division. For the cruiserweight division, he made a great fighter at this division look good. And a good fighter versus a great fighter is going to get destroyed every time. Almost every time. Because there is levels to this game. I think Benavidez just showed that type of level to his game. And that's why this fight with Opetaia is so exciting. Because I know for a fact that this fight with Jai Opetaia, this is, if we do get this fight, it would be insane to witness. It really would. And the likelihood of him winning, I think it would be up there with one of the best achievements that he's had, even on par with what he's done right now. Because essentially he would have beaten the top two in this division outright. And the most dangerous puncher that he's ever faced in his career. If he beats him in the same way, I mean, at that point, there's no other real question to ask. So that's why, hopefully I answered your question. That whether or not you think that Zerto would get beat by Jai or Bivol in a dominant fashion, in this situation it's relevant. Because those are the only two names we can bring up as to if anybody could do the same thing, it would be them. But outside of that, there's nobody else that we can really see that can do this to Zerto. That should tell you what type of level he's been at. So I don't think it's overblown. At least not to me. Devin can't make a fraction of what Inoue does to him. Shakur, And to well, like I said, you want to say they shouldn't talk. They got a right to talk. They do. They got a right to talk. I'm not against you having your opinions. I can disagree. I'm not against it, but it's just the reasoning is the why is this sentiment being held by more than just a couple people, by a lot of people. But let me see. With the Inoue and Junto was a technical war at the same time. Yeah, Nakatani got his orbital bone broken, so it devolved into somebody got hurt still. And it was an exciting affair, so I don't get it. I don't understand it. Let me see, I'm as mad as when I found out Tank was fighting Jake Paul. Look, and hold your anger, but also understand for everybody's criteria of what makes great boxing, or rather what makes boxing great, it's gonna be different. I may not like it, and I definitely can speak on my own thoughts and opinions, but it's what they believe. And even though I distinctly think it's wrong, it's how they feel. The only thing that's going to shut them up is for somebody to beat their ideology. The only way to shut somebody who feels this type of way up, in this type of vein, is for somebody to come along and beat their belief. Somebody come along and beat what they feel when it comes to fighters by beating a certain fighter. That's why we say every fight is unique, because it can answer a certain question that can change the whole conversation surrounding somebody. Every fight is important because one fight can change the whole perception of both the sport and the fighters in the midst of said war, for good and for bad. So it's going to take that type of moving to make, if you want to change the minds, to change the minds. Let me see. They mad at Japanese is on top. They wish their fighters were like, anyway. I mean, most likely. I mean, to some degree, yeah. There is undoubtedly some racial rhetoric as to why people don't value Inoue or anybody else for that matter above their favorite fighters. There's some stuff there. Some of it's pride. Some of it is legit racism. Some of it is a straight up disrespect. They don't want to accept this. Some is just genuine. They feel somebody's better than them or better than somebody else. The first three, the racism and stuff like that, I got a problem with that. That shouldn't in any way shape what should be the case of whether or not a fighter is great or not great. I don't care where you from. If you can fight, you can fight. I don't care if you black, blue, green, or purple. I don't care if you translucent. I don't care if you invisible. I don't care if you dark as night. I could care less what color or where you from. If you can throw down, guess what, buddy? You can throw down. The fighting ability should be the only thing that matters. Regardless of where you're from. You can rep your pride. Support them, no problem. I have no issue with that. That's not crossing into that dangerous threshold that I'm talking about. Where you're using somebody's race against the conduct and the ability of a fighter at hand. Knowingly or unknowingly. Because some people, they don't know what they're doing or why they're feeling what they're feeling. I just don't. There's something about this guy. I can't put my finger on it. Something just rubs me the wrong way about him. He's not my cup of tea. And I can't explain it. But this other guy, he's just got that it factor. He just got that other gear. He just got that the way he fights. It. I don't know. I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it. Type of situation. That goes into a different conversation. That goes into a little bit different conversation. But now, if you can fight, you can fight. I've been saying Inoue's number one and number two in the world since 2023. Since we started this channel, he's been there. Since we've been continuing this channel, he's been there. If Bam beats Inoue, guess what? Bam is the number one pound for pound best fighter in the world. be clear on that. We can talk about the fight now. If Inoue wins, if we get that fight with Bam, he stays where he's at. If Bam beats him, Bam becomes the best fighter in the world. Is that wrong to say? Would that be that wouldn't be insane to say, would it? That would be better than Usyk. He's got as dense of a resume as the likes of Devin Haney. He's been able to outbox and outfight every opponent he's been in the ring with. He's barely lost a round in his entire career. He's cleaned out 115. He's going up now to 118 to fight Vargas. If he beats Vargas, well, next thing you know, he's coming to 122. And he's already been unified champion multiple divisions. The only thing he ain't done is been undisputed. And in part, that's kind of been because he's been fighting every champion, taking the belt one by one. But also, he's just been trying to move up to get this fight with Inoue and or Nakatani. So, he's crazy enough, he's leaving food on the table only because I'm trying to push the pace and get to the fights up here, which is insane to think about. But that's what's been going on. And so with him, if he beat Naoya Inoue, it would be undisputed fact he'd be the best fighter in the world. He would be the best fighter in the world because he's top 5 in accomplishments. His record is unblemished and it's as deep as some of the biggest names out here in the sport. Deeper than some of the biggest names that we got in boxing right now as top stars. And he's 25 years old. He's younger than Daniel Dubois. He's younger than Tank. He's younger than Shakur. He's younger than nearly a vast majority of the people in the top 10 right now. And even amongst the top 15, like with Boots or an Abdullah Mason or Keyshawn Davis, he's younger than them, but he's accomplished more than them in less time with more fights. He's got more fights than Keyshawn Davis. I think, let me check the resume to make sure I got it right. But I believe he's got more, he's 23-0. If we look at the top 10 in boxing right now, 23-0 at 25, with them in some situations fighting twice a year, or I think more than twice a year actually, signing fights before he even wins the fight that he is already scheduled to fight. Like he's been pushing the pace. Like if we let me see, where's my pound per pound? Let me go pound per pound. He's got 2 less fights than Shakur, while younger than Shakur. He's got 1 less fight, he's got 2 less total fights than Bebo. And Bebo's in the middle of his prime. He's 23 fights in total for Inoue, 23-0, 25 fights for Bebo, 24-1. Whoever has Oscar Collazo, even though I don't think he should be pound for pound, anybody who has Oscar Collazo on his resume as pound for pound fighter, Collazo's 14-0. Bam's doubled that. He's been cleaning house. Usyk's 24-0. Usyk is 24-0 in his career at 38 years old. Again, the density is insane. But Bam's got that as well at only 25. It's preposterous. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense, but he's working like a champion should work. He really is. And so, like, I don't know what else you need from him except for I don't know what else you would need from him if he beats Inoue to say that, yeah, he would be considered the best in the land. To me, let me see. Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the live stream with us today. Inoue beats Bam in my opinion, but would love to see that fight. At this point, I would say yes, because I would love to see. Well, I can't say for certain on Bam's regard until after Bam fights Vargas. That's the one of the 2 litmus tests, or one of the litmus test. Because if he goes to 122 straight up, it's going to be for Inoue straight outright. He ain't gonna. I would be surprised if he does what Nakatani did and takes a fight with a Hernandez or a Marlon Tapales or a Picasso or Cardenas or Akhmadali or anybody of that top 5-esque range in the world of 122 instead of going straight after Inoue. I'd be surprised. I would assume you would too. I would assume you would as well, because of the risk that we almost saw Nakatani get beat by Hernandez. Now, Hernandez and Nakatani was not indicative of what exactly we were going to see Nakatani beat, because it showed you how good Hernandez was, and it showed you he would have given anybody, even Inoue, the similar level of problem when it comes to just being a tank. I can take punishment, and I'm going to walk you down, and I'm going to make you fight on the inside, and now you got to deal with my relentless body attack. It's a one-dimensional framework, but my gosh, it's hard to beat for anybody, because he is, in fact, that type of a fighter. But it wasn't indicative of what Nakatani could be and what he is as a boxer. For Bam to make sure that doesn't quell his momentum going into that super fight, if it gets made in next year, then yeah, he'll be jumping straight up, which would be insane to say. So I got to see, so I would have to see what he looks like at 118 first, and he would have to put on a really dominant display to help sway my perception of what that fight would be like against Inoue, at least to me. Let me see. Yeah, but this Inoue's second time fighting someone who was a tougher opponent and on the pound-for-pound list. Like, what more do they want? And for both Bam and Inoue, the question's always going to linger primarily from America. Let's call it what it is. Let's, again, we talk real on this show. Let's talk real. Let's talk real. Come on. Let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. It's America that's the problem. It is the United States of America that's the problem. Now, we've been problematic in more ways than one over the past 9 months. No question about that. But in the boxing world, we are the problem, because we are one of the biggest venture capitals in the globe. Understandable. The market of boxing runs through America. It does, just like it runs through the UK and Mexico. The 3 biggest brands in boxing are those 3 countries, or three sections of the globe. America's the problem because we're the ones that are putting this arbitrary hypocrisy on fighters who are indeed doing great things. That's the issue. We're the ones that are causing this. We're the ones that are messing it up. Inoue is faced off against 26 straight, or excuse me. Listen, he won a championship in his 6th fight. He is, what is it? I think now he's 33 and 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27. There's been 27 straight championship fights since his 6th fight that he's won. He's had Fight of the Year, a Knockout of the Year contender. He's blown through 1 through 5 in 4 straight divisions and became 2-time undisputed champion in less time than what we saw Terrence Crawford do. When he became 2-time undisputed, he became 2-time undisputed champion in the same year. When Terrence Crawford had his 1 fight against Errol Spence Jr. to get that moniker, Inoue had won the title and then moved, and then won the title again within 12 months. And that wasn't enough for some people. Bam was beating the pound-for-pound #1 guy in about 3 separate divisions, in 2 or 3 separate divisions. dominated without remorse, and beating Hall of Famers when he shouldn't have been ready. Let's be completely honest. He's so young, he shouldn't be. Most people would say, with the modern day scaling of how boxers fight, he shouldn't be ready for this. By today's modern standard of pushing a fighter through, he shouldn't be ready. Yet, he is. You want to put this into perspective? Kermel Moton, at this point in time, his record is, if I can look it up right here, his record's 9-0. Right now, Kermel Moton's record's 9-0. At 6-0, Inoue became a champion. At 3-0, Lomachenko, 4-0, Lomachenko became a champion. I'm not using this to diss Kermel Moton. I'm saying they've been expediting their level of speed and work. Bam. Early became a champion. It's been reigning ever since. The early level of work with the consistency of competition gets overshadowed because America is a big voice with big personalities that when they try to dominate the conversation, for a lot of people that don't know the sport, what they say is what goes. And what they say goes is the fact that their favorite fighter should be the cream of the crop and everybody else should be flating under them. And or they just flat out disrespect everybody else. They do. This is not me trying to be an indictment on people in talking boxing. No, we're all in this together and we love the support and the adoration and let everybody voice their opinion. But it's undeniable that we're seeing this as a big problem as to why people don't get respect. What it takes to earn respect is a lot. We understand. It's always been. But even that metric has gotten blown up to a degree because we're in the era of Floyd Mayweather. We're still in that whole situation. We're still in the identity of Floyd as much as we've been trying to grow out of it. And we have been growing out of it because we've been getting more big fights than we've had in the last 3 years. Between 2023 and now, we've been spoiled with boxing that we hadn't had in over a decade plus, and we appreciate it. But it doesn't change the fact that the conversation and the old guard of thinking still holds true. Old guard in a bad way. That's a problem. It's a big time problem. And if we don't get it fixed, or that's why I'm trying to be part of changing the tune of people, so we can have better conversations as a whole, legitimately. But let me keep on reading what you all's chats have to say. Man defended all 4 belts 7 times, and yet it's not like what? Yeah. That's the thing. It's crazy to think about. The only man to defend the undisputed title 7 times. Yeah. Like we're not trying to turn this into just an Inoue glaze fest, but we're using Inoue. Or that I'm using Inoue. Let me rephrase it. I'm using all of this stuff with what's been going on with the conversation surrounding Inoue. He can't sell. Brother just had the 4th highest pay-per-view bought event in boxing history. Again, the 4th highest in boxing history, and it wasn't in America. The 4th biggest global boxing event in modern day boxing history happened over 3,000 miles away from where I live. In any direction. Past the West Coast, all the way going into, again, Japan. That's without any of our machine being a part of it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And they're slated to break it again by having Bam and Inoue fight in Japan with 80,000 people. This ain't Wembley Stadium. This ain't Dallas Cowboys Stadium. This ain't Las Vegas, Nevada. This ain't even Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because I think they're building a new one. Hope y'all don't get relegated. Alex, if you watching, I hope y'all still Hope y'all still staying afloat, because I knew I knew it was looking rocky a couple of months ago. Oh, Lord. I remember that. I hope y'all are doing a lot better. Hope the Spurs are still able to be in the Premier League. I hope and pray. Otherwise, that seems going to be a waste. Even still. Even still. None of those places. None of our stadiums. Not San Francisco Stadium. Not Heinz Field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. None of them were in any way, shape, or form able to help this fight sell. It sold on its own. Because Inoue was that big of a star, and Nakatani, was the perfect dance partner. No question about it. It takes two to tango. No question. But if you're involved as one of the two, that shows you got some weight. And for Inoue, like this should show you. This should show you why the disdain from the States becomes a big problem. Because all of a sudden, everybody is shocked that somebody that isn't from the States, that ain't from America, is able to go and be something great on their own, unless they're from the UK or out of Mexico straight up as the biggest thing since sliced bread, like with Canelo. Anybody else, you ain't nothing until you hear. And it's stupid. It is. And now when somebody shows, oh my gosh, I can do bad all by myself without y'all here, everybody's saying, I didn't know he was that big of a star. I didn't know he was that big of a talent. I didn't know he was that much of a force to be reckoned with in the boxing world. I didn't think that he could sell like that. Who would have thought people wanted to pay to see this man fight? Who would have thought? We all tried to tell you. You just didn't want to listen. You didn't want to listen. And again, this will be the last thing on the overarching debate. We can talk about Inoue and Bam intricately now, because there's one thing I do want to bring up with Inoue and Bam specifically. But the last thing in the overarching conversation of Inoue, Bam, or anybody star power-wise, you all in America are not even supporting your own people in the way that you should. You pick and choose even here who should be a big star and who isn't. Tank's been a big star even to this day, and he doesn't deserve to be in the same vein as he's still held at right now. When Devin Haney accomplished more than him, y'all said y'all don't care. Shakur just now getting the shine that he should have gotten years ago, and you all said you hate him. Don't forget, David Benavidez has been here for his entire career. Mexican-American who fights out of Arizona. And he's been here. The youngest super middleweight champion, in history. The youngest super middleweight champion in history. Who has been knocking everybody out left, right, and center. Bringing destruction and danger in his wake. In a manner that had Mike Tyson giving him a nickname that's still stuck to this day. And Mike Tyson is very hard to please. And you all still let him override or get overshadowed by Canelo, by Tank, and by the other big stars that you said should be seen as pound for pound, and let him go under the radar up until this past weekend. We can't even recognize our own jewels of stardom when we have them. We can't. Not in the way that we want to. Or not in the way that we should. But you're saying you need to fight over here to be great. The fighters that fought over here, y'all quelled their growth. You quelled what they were. You talked down against them. You said there's no big stars in the sport. There's no exciting fighters anymore. What's there to look for outside of Floyd? You said that. You didn't care about Terrence Crawford until he beat Errol Spence. You said that this country that has had so many issues has said this about the sport that they still tout it runs through us and us alone. You can't sell unless you sell over here and here alone. It's a topsy-turvy situation, man. We're the problem. We're the problem. In a lot of ways, we're the problem. Because it's in promoters like Eddie Hearn and others, they've actually done a good job of trying to put their fighters on the forefront of the mind's eye of the boxing world so everybody can see, hey, look at this man, and y'all still did not care. You still didn't care. I don't know what else to say except for we can't hold that standard if we're not even holding it for our own stars. Look at the NBA. LeBron's getting ready to retire. But he just had 27, 6, and 4 on 70% true shooting. Barely missed a shot against one of the best defenses of all time in the playoffs. Though they lost, they couldn't stop him. And still, he's running as the face of the league. Justifiably so. Guess what? We can't even agree as to who should be the next face of the basketball world. They're having trouble with that today. Why? Because they didn't invest their own time in anybody else. And the old guard of Curry, Steph, and LeBron about to go. And look at, they're scrambling now. And because Wembanyama is not American, he can't be the face of the league. That's what Stephen A. Smith said. That's what Kendrick Perkins has said. That's what other pundits have said. And they're all stupid, but yet you can't even agree on which American man should be the face of basketball. But somebody comes outside of the country that's doing work over everybody else, and y'all don't respect him as he should be the next guy up because he's representing everything this league's supposed to be. Nikola Jokic, almost 4 straight MVPs. He won about 3 back-to-back, just about. Has been the best player in basketball up until arguably this last season. Averaged 29, 10, and 10. Led the league in assists and rebounds. And he's still being said, we don't respect him. He's getting unfair favor. And the MVP voting as a foreign player, he wouldn't be that good if he was black. That is a legitimate sentiment that Kendrick Perkins has. Kendrick Perkins, current ESPN pundit for the NBA, has said those same words about a foreign player. Their race being the biggest thing as to what holds them back. Where they're from being the biggest thing as to why they're getting unfavorable treatment or favorable treatment and or should be slated as a star in this sport. I'm not getting away from boxing. I'm using other sports to paint the same picture of problem. We can't say we're America's a hypocrite. We're hypocritical. We are hypocritical. It's a shame. I hate it, but it's a shame. It's just a shame. Let me see. I agree. Too obsessed in America is not on top. Like we have stars that can get there. We got fighters that can be there. We got stars that gain respect. But it just shouldn't be you holding this hypocritical sentiment. And the people that you are just now getting in light of, you weren't even propping them up in the way that you were supposed to. Because you said they suck. So it's, again, it's hypocrisy all around. That's the thing. If Bam loses, Southpaw will stop supporting Bam. Like I said, that goes wherever that goes. Whatever Southpaw or anybody else does, that's them. That's not me. Strictly speaking from the support aspect, I hope Bam doesn't lose support. I hope. Because he's from the States as well. He's an American fighter. I believe he's Mexican and American. He might be Mexican American and or Ecuadorian. I'm not exactly sure what the other background is, but I know for a fact the brother should be embraced by the public wherever in Mexico and the U.S. or wherever the other ethnicity is, because he's that great of a fighter. If he loses, it should be like what we see with Nakatani. We want to see him more, not less. He gets more respect, not less. He becomes a bigger star, not a smaller star. He should be there. He should be. It should be like that. But again, It may not be. Let me see. Yo, what is it? Is it a host? Or is it a Jose? I think it's a. If we going with my Spanish class, I think the J is pronounced H. So I think it's a host. What's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the live with us today. We are glad you're supporting our channel. And please, if you are tuning in, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we're talking about today beyond just the debates of supporting fighters and whatnot. We want to talk about the debates as a whole with Bam and Inoue or other topics of discussion. We want to hear from you. Keep on liking the stream if you haven't already. We need you to support this channel. One like makes a world of difference to help us go and flourish as a show. We got 9 people watching the show, 8 or 9 people. If we can get all of y'all to like, it'll bring even more people into our stream with us today. So please, one like makes a world of difference, and please smash the like button. It helps us support our channel so much. Let me see. Host, you say he can't beat Jai Opetaia, and well, I beg to differ. I really do. I beg to differ. I think he can beat him. I think he can beat him. I think he can beat him. I think he can beat Jai Opetaia. I believe he's a better fighter than Jai Opetaia. That's the biggest thing. I think he's a better fighter than Jai Opetaia. He's a better boxer, skill-wise, than Jai Opetaia. And we now know the physical stature of this division doesn't face it. It doesn't. So I don't think Jai has enough skill to beat David Benavidez. I don't think he has enough skill to beat him. I really don't. But you don't have to fight him. No, but be clear. Be clear. And in fact, this actually goes into the perfect segue for some clips we wanted to bring up on our show. Because we're talking about who Benavidez can or cannot fight next, or who he will or will not want to fight next. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If he doesn't fight Jai Opetaia, he better go after the only other biggest option possible. That biggest option is Bivol. And right now, it looks like that's what he's going after. Because if you haven't seen one of his latest interviews, apparently Benavidez and Bivol, that fight isn't just a fight that needs to happen. It's a fight that potentially is already in talks with. As we can see David Benavidez talk about it himself on his interview with Ariel Helwani. And I'll play it for you right now so you can see exactly what he said to the public eye. Or rather, so you can see what he said to the public right here on our show. So give me 1 second. Let me boot it up. Let me get it restarted.
If you were to
and
guess,
then boom, here is David Benavidez when asked about that fight with Bivol. And his words are saying that fight is going to happen. And they're already in talks with it going down between them for potentially both titles, maybe? I'm not sure. Let's let Benavidez tell you himself.
if you were to guess, it sounds to me like you're leaning towards going back to light heavyweight. Is that accurate? That's what you want to do next?
Yeah, 100%. We're going after Dimitri Bivol.
Okay, that's it.
I told you guys that's what I got. That's what I wanted to do, and just so the fans they have something to look up to. That's look forward to. That's why I give you guys my breakdowns, what I'm trying to do, what are my plans. And I told you guys I was gonna come back down and fight Bivol, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
I love that. Do you think that it could happen? Is the dream for it to happen in September, Mexican Independence Day weekend? Is that what you want?
Not right now. I think it's. I don't know what's gonna happen because we're still in talks.
Yeah,
with
he's fighting.
early talks.
Right.
Yeah, he's fighting, and at the end of the month, he still has 21 more days until he fights. So I don't know how long he's gonna have to stay out, or if he has an injury or any of that. So, but the thing is that we're already talking. We're in talks. So if it happens in September, great. If it doesn't, it'll definitely happen by this year.
If you were to guess, it sounds to me like.
So there you go. As you can see, Benavidez is saying himself, it's going to happen. At minimum, it's going to happen this year. If not, it may happen as early as September, especially with the fact that after Bivol fights Eifert and Benavidez relatively came out unscathed against the likes of Zerto, now that fight between them looks like it's going to be a done deal. And if that's the case, great. Phenomenal. Beautiful. I mean beautiful, because this is a fight that has been building up for a mighty long time. We're talking about not just pound-pound level competition, but we're talking about a fighter in Bivol who has already sparred with Benavidez, and Benavidez feels that he's got Bivol's number, just like he got Zerto's number. Mind you, he's been the most confident I've seen him in was in these two fights where he was able to already be familiar with their power and ability, with their prowess as a boxer. And with Bivol, he's been saying this same thing. I know I can beat him. I know I'll knock him out. I know I'll stop him. Because when I fought him before, he told me I gave him good work. And he said that publicly. I'm better now than I ever was back then. If I fight him today, yeah, I'll get him. I'll get him. I'll definitely get him. Again, his words. So I would love to see that fight. If we don't get the fight with Jai Opetaia, I would love to see that fight with the likes of Bivol. Let me see. At least Takatio show respect in a way. I mean, yeah, they do. Like boxers who know, they show respect. It's not. It's the public. It's the public promotion of said boxers. That's where stuff starts getting shaky because of what's been instilled in them as to what you need to be great. They only think you got to be here, but that's just not the case. Let me see. Let me think. I'm trying to keep on reading you all's chats. Peel out, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our show today. Welcome to the live, and we're happy that you're joining back on our stream. Jai doesn't have one punch power though. That is one. Jai does have, one punch power. That is one advantage. Benavidez is a machismo fighter. The risk is, like again, he fought against Nakia. And he got rocked, I believe, against Nakia. He got put on the back foot against Nakia. But don't forget what happened at the end of that fight. And in fact, I may be able to pull it up because I think now we in the clear to actually show that fight. Peg. Yeah, there we go. If I can find it, I'm going to pull it up. But he knocked out Nakia, and he broke his vertebrae.
Hey, look at this. We got the problems here. We got the problems here.
That's not a joke. Y'all, I think people forget, and I'm not trying to overlook this. The last time he knocked out somebody like Nakia, or the last time he knocked out somebody at cruiserweight, who was Nakia, I believe, he broke his vertebrae. He broke his neck. He broke his neck with the knockout. Literally. I don't think he's fought yet since that fight with Jai Opetaia. I don't think I don't think he's fought since that KO. That's how destructive we've seen Jai Opetaia be. And if we see the likes of Benavidez get caught with something like that, it's leagues more dangerous than what we would have seen with the likes of Zerto Ramirez. And we know Zerto we know Zerto's a dog. We know for a fact Zerto's a dog. But like it would be, I mean, like danger. Danger in the highest accord. Again, I'm looking at highlights right now. This brother, he's broken people's jaws. He's put people out for 6 minutes. He's been able to absolutely decimate opposition. I mean, brother, like look. I'm gonna play this so you can see exactly what type of power we're dealing with when it comes to the likes of Jai Opetaia. But we're dealing with a man who his destructive nature is so potent. It's not just a puncher's chance. Forget a puncher's chance. This is a fight who it's reckless abandon that we could see this man change forever. We really could. Here, look at what he did. Look at what this cat's able to do. Hold on. Man, I don't think I can play. Oh, no. Where'd it go? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Time out. Wait a minute. Wait a second. What happened? I had the clip and then it shifted immediately. What took place? Hold on a minute. There we go. Okay, we got it back now. As I'm talking, I'll let the clip play. But look at what we're seeing the likes of Jai be able to do as a fighter. Like this is the type of danger. This is the type of struggle. This is the type of monstrous ability that we're seeing with Jai Opetaia. He is a ruthless, unrelenting, unforgiving killer. That if you do get landed on, he's one of the best finishers in the game, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He's one of the scariest finishers in the game. His capacity to put you on not just Dream Street, but change the trajectory of your fight forever, of your boxing life forever, to make it so that you are maybe gone to never. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. If you don't remember, he was on the ground for more than 6 minutes in this, and he broke his vertebrae, his neck, from this knockout. And I don't think he's fought again. That's what Benavidez is walking into. And if that lands, yeah, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. It's a dangerous problem. So I'm not diminishing the threat level because I know it's there. Let me see. Nakatani could give Bam some problems, even beat him. He could. I think he's also smaller than Inoue, so that would actually be. Nakatani would be probably more inclined to amp up the pace of said fight if he was to fight Bam. Because Bam, I don't think he's also as fast as Inoue, but that's still for both of them. That would be a hard fight to see. For real, Opetaia leaves legit heavyweights unconscious. Benavidez is a volume puncher. Opetaia, all it takes is one. And you're right. But I think what we have to understand is when it comes to a boxer who all it takes is one, how does he set up those punches? And more specifically, is it set up in a way that Benavidez would not be able to be prepared for and or would be vulnerable to? And I don't think so. He throws more basic combinations than the likes of Zurdo Ramirez. He is much slower than the likes of David Benavidez. The setup of his shots are indeed crisp and clean. Don't get me wrong. They can break you through the guard, but at the same breath, it's not the same skillful ability of, okay, what can come next? There's also some sneaky tricks of the trade that I don't know if Jai can handle because they haven't been used on him. We've seen Jai, I think, use some stuff like Roberto Ortiz with pulling down of the guard and trying to land on punchers. I don't think we've seen that happen to Jai, and it can't. We've seen Jai be able to walk forward and box, but on the back foot, I don't know if we can say he's nearly as comfortable. And Benavidez, I've yet to see him really give up ground as a boxer. And even when he has given up ground, he's been able to fight very well off the ropes, on the back foot, with his jab and range. And the raw speed of Jai Opetaia, I don't think it's able to equate to the instantaneous ability of Benavidez. Because Benavidez can be right in front of you. They're both going to be in that mid-range area. And you saw how quick Benavidez was able to get his shots off against Zurdo. And more specifically, how much they were breaking through the guard of Zurdo Ramirez. Jai Opetaia is not a great defensive fighter. He's not bad, don't get me wrong. He's not great. He gets tagged and touched up. We've seen fighters with speed give him some real trouble, give him some real problematic issues. We've seen fighters with range give him some trouble and give him some problematic issues. We've also never seen him against somebody with this type of defensive ability. We haven't seen somebody of Jai's, we haven't seen Jai face off against somebody with Benavidez level defense. And we talked about why Benavidez's defense is so good. It is indeed. He's got 3 different defenses he can use, and he got head movement. And he's so quick to react and stuff. He's able to get out of the way. Like he's an incredible fighter in all facets. I don't know if Benavidez, or rather, I don't know if Jai has the capacity to get to where he needs to be to put Benavidez in that dangerous situation. That's my issue. For me, that's my issue. Let me see. How about this? Do we think Benavidez will fight Opetaia the same way he fought Yard and Morrell? I don't think he does. I think his output will be way lower than Opetaia. So it depends on Opetaia's reaction. It depends on Opetaia's reaction. He was familiar with Zurdo. And the same combination that worked for Zurdo when he sparred against him worked again in this very fight. And the speed and reaction of Zurdo Ramirez when he got his flurry off gave him the green light. Oh, okay. This is going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be that type of night. Okay, yeah, I got the highway. It's the Autobahn now. I can go 180, and there's going to be no traffic to stop me because you can't respond in time. You're frozen. If I put my foot on the gas pedal, so I'm going to go 100 miles an hour. With Benavidez, his flurries are not just a sign of, ooh, I got speed. His flurries are also a gauging of where you are in the fight or who you are as a fighter when dealing with his talents and ability. If you can handle that, he won't go as much one hits or volley of shots. When Caleb Plant was moving around, he didn't use a bunch of volleys of shots in the same way. He went through and he was landing one punches. They were quick. One punch, boom, boom. Very much long, rangy, powerful straights and rights. Jabs and straights. And then when he closed the gap and he saw Caleb Plant was starting to wear down, then threw a volley. Let's see how it goes. Oh, okay, I got the green light now. I can throw a lot more. Against Yard, same thing. Respected the power, threw his hands, tried to make sure he was technical, got on the outside, respected the speed of Yard because Yard got some decently fast hands and can pop. And so probed, kept on walking forward, kept on probing, was smart, opened up his offense little by little up until he got the full breath of, okay, I know where you are now, so I can really cut loose. He fights with what you give him. But at the same breath, he will fight you to the point that he'll take what he wants. Does that make sense? He'll fight with what you give him. He will make it so that you won't, that he won't be overzealous. He's not just starting out the fight going boom, boom, boom. He's not doing that. He's not reckless like people may assume. He ain't. But he will see what you give him. And off of that, he'll fight accordingly. And then after fighting accordingly, he will make you give him what he wants by breaking you down. I want to still throw with speed, and I want to land some devastating shots. So I'm going to box with you, and I'm going to take what I want from you so that I can fight like I ultimately want to fight. But I'll play your game and beat you at it. So with Jai, he's not going to come in guns blazing unless he sees that Jai is just as vulnerable as Zurdo and he cannot handle the speed that he's dealing with. If he feels that, it's an open book. It's an open highway. It's the Autobahn. It's time to floor. We in NASCAR. I'm getting out of the draft now and I'm slingshotting my way to the front of the line. We are going full throttle, trying to mess you up because now I got the confidence and the evidence needed to give me the green flag to go for it. So we're going to, what Jai gives him and how he reacts is going to be what ultimately has him fighting in whatever style Benavidez wants to fight. But he's not going to go into flurries off rip. But if Josh shows that he can't handle speed outright, and he gets backed up, and his defense is not as good as people may think, and he keeps getting countered, yeah, he'll get to that same output. I guarantee you he will. I guarantee. And we've seen Josh get tired as well. And even Benavidez with a lower output is still a higher volume than just about anybody in this cruiserweight division, including Jai Opetaia. So it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a real problem. Let me see. Josh blocking and catching shots is not great, but his in and out bouncing feet, defense is excellent. He gets out of range quick. But see, the problem is, again, please, shameless plug. By the way, shameless plug. If you can, keep on liking the stream and keep on sharing the show. Got to do it just so you can make sure we keep on getting people invested in the show. But that could backfire, because if he keeps on backing up, Benavidez doesn't bounce and move, even though he can also jump in and out of range. He's done it before. That's Jai's best attribute defensively, his feet. Very athletic, very quick. But if he keeps backing up in and out against Benavidez, he's just giving up ground. Benavidez is not going to jump back if you try to jump in. He's going to lean, but he's going to shell up. He's going to be like this. And most of the time, it's going to be shots to the midsection that parry off the elbows. Every time. He did it against Zurdo. He did it against Plant. He did it against Morrell. His blocking is so good, and he's such a treat. He will continually press the pace and force you to the ropes if you keep trying to dart in and out instead of trying to back him up. The only way you can have room is if you stand mid-range toe-to-toe with him. If you try to leap forward, you're just giving up ground, because Benavidez will consistently give you less space to jump back, because he'll consistently keep on getting closer and closer. That's where he wants to fight. He does not want to be out here. He doesn't want to be out here where he's throwing jabs and throwing. He wants to be up here. He wants to be right here in your face. And so the best bet would be make your power threatening by standing your ground. Because if you back up, you're gonna dart in, back out, and then next time you try to dart in, all of a sudden you got less space to jump forward. And then the next time you got less space to jump forward. Next thing you know, you're back to the post. And now you are, okay, I got to punch him off of me. Or you got to try to pivot away. And if you keep on doing that, you get tired. You get tired. I'm telling you, the amount of work you have to do to stay away from Benavidez. People with better feet have tried and failed. People with better feet, who are faster, who have better stamina than Jai Opetaia, have tried and failed to do that same thing. That's what makes it so concerning. That's what's gonna make it so hard for him to beat. Let me see. I've seen Benavidez gets hit a lot. There's holes in the defense. I've seen people pick him apart from range. Jai from mid-range will pick him apart. I don't think so. I don't think so. Benavidez, by proxy of what he wants, is gonna get caught. I'm not denying it. I'm not saying his defense is perfect, but I'm saying his ability to, in situational defensive instances, always pick right just about every time. It doesn't mean that he's going to be unhittable. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to get to the punch that you want to land is going to be incredibly difficult. And by the time you do, you're in the range that he wants you to be in. He's gotten countered. Yes, he did. He got countered against Zurdo. Yes, he did, but he took it well. But the problem is, even in those risky situations, he can go and take those chances more than the average fighter. It's like with Inoue. Inoue can take those types of chances more than just about anybody else in the globe because he's that good of a fighter. Benavidez is on that same plane. I can take those chances. I can risk getting caught like that. Why? Because I know how good I am. And when push comes to shove, you'll get me sometimes, no question. But if I got to bet on me getting to you first and or me outworking you, by the time you do get your shot, I'll bank on that every time. I'll bank on it every time. I'm the same thing with Zurdo I'm concerned about with Jai. The speed differential is going to be so apparent. I'm just concerned. I'm concerned. I know Jai's incredible, and I know he's a threat level, but in every facet I'm seeing, rewatching film, the brother, as destructive as he is, it ain't going to be just, oh, he's going to blast him away. It ain't going to be that. It ain't. And I right now, I'm going to say it, I think he's going to beat him. I think he's going to beat him. And we now know he's got power enough to hurt him. So guess what that means? Now, Jai isn't the only brother. That's the danger in this fight. We keep harping on the speed, but if Benavidez can, in the same way that he did to Zurdo, he can swell up Jai's face. Jai's never been put in a situation where you are in structural damage level danger. He's never put in that situation where all of a sudden, brother, these normally a volley of shots would just be nets in the air. Now every shot is a stinking nail on a hammer or a hammer to a nail. Like you getting rocked. That volley ain't just a volley, or that hand speed ain't just hand speed, but he carrying weight behind that. Y'all forget, Zurdo didn't just get his orbital bone broken. Multiple teeth got broke, not cracked, broke. Multiple cuts on the inside of his mouth from his teeth getting broke. A broken nose as well. An orbital fracture. Like, it's not just the flurry. There's power in Benavidez now that Jai has to be concerned with. There is. He's ain't the only one bringing pain. Benavidez been bringing pain since 168. Changing faces. Breaking bones. Taking livers. But is a black market salesman. Whatever body part you need, he will rip it out of his opposition. I'm dead serious. That's what he is. He's a monster for a reason. He's a monster for a reason. And he's now done it against the brother who was the biggest op to Zurdo. Y'all better understand, it ain't just Zurdo. It ain't just Jai who's in trouble. Or rather, it ain't just Benavidez who may be in trouble. Jai, if you, and I don't say this out of disrespect, I say this out of reality. You better hope and pray that Jai Opetaia is able to be as destructive as you say he is. Because if that brother gets caught in a bad situation, he gonna get beat. It's gonna be a world of pain that, it's gonna be a level of pain that I don't know how he's going to respond. I don't know. It's concerning. Let me see. Also, yo, MS, brother, what's going on? Nostradamus himself, the man with the future-proof see-through ball. How you doing? Good to see. We appreciate you coming back on. Hey, look, I've been waiting on you, MS. Hey, man, I've been waiting on you for a long time. Brother, since you made that announcement, you went AWOL. I couldn't find you at all. And brother, you were right. You were right. You called it. And now the steps of the next career, they going forward. And let me tell you something, man. You were not just you broke the news. You were one of the first to say, I think you were one of the first to say that Benavidez would beat him. And it took me maybe like a week or two. Once this fight got announced, I was like, yeah, I think he could too. So I can't wait to hear what you say about this whole situation. I can't wait to see in all reality, where he goes next. And I do indeed hope that it is Bivol that he wants to go after, because it sounds like that's what he's trying to do. But when it comes to this fight with Jai, again, one of the last things that we'll say as we continue to go through, Jai is not the only man. Jai is not the biggest. How do we say this? The biggest threat in this fight is David Benavidez. I'm going to say it because the reason why I say that, Jai Opetaia versus Zurdo was for many people, not just the last test for Zurdo and Jai to see who ran the division, but it was the most dangerous test for Jai Opetaia. Benavidez just walked through who was for 2 years slated as the only man to beat Zurdo Ramirez. I don't know if we're giving Jai the requisite level of concern that he needs to be given, because he's dealing with somebody that's better, leagues better, than the very man that was supposed to be his biggest opposition. This would be like if Errol Spence and Terry Crawford were fighting against each other, and then all of a sudden, we'll say, for the sake of argument, we'll say, who's a good dude? Who's good? Well, for the sake of argument, this isn't reality, but for the sake of argument, this would be like if Spence, Crawford, they were getting ready to fight each other, and then all of a sudden, out the blue, it wasn't Terrence Crawford that beat Spence first. It was Keyshawn Davis that blew Spence out the water, coming up to 147. And all of a sudden now, it's Keyshawn Crawford. That's the proving ground for a lot of people. Now, in this situation, again, Terrence Crawford better than all of them. I understand it. I'm just simply painting a picture for number one, number two, going at each other, and then somebody out the blue comes up and decimates the number two guy in a way that we didn't even think the number one guy would be able to do. Better example would be if Inoue and Nakatani didn't fight first, but it was Inoue, or it was Nakatani and Bam that fought first, and Bam knocked out Nakatani in 5 rounds. All of a sudden, that changes some things. Because the biggest threat that we thought was supposed to be on your level just got beat out the blue by a bigger threat than that. That may sway the tides of concern. And in this situation, I think it did for a lot of people. You can say that Jai would have beaten Zurdo. That's perfectly fine. I agree. But I was saying that fight was close. And I'm saying right now, he whooped Zurdo in a way that I don't even think people saw Jai Opetaia be able to do. They said Jai could knock him out. They didn't think he would bludgeon him like this, because it was going to be, you got to get around the footwork. You got to get around the volume punch. You got to get around the pivots. How are you going to deal with all that? Benavidez destroyed him. I don't know if Jai's getting the real level of threat consideration that is across the ring from him now in the likes of David Benavidez. I don't think they're putting Benavidez in the right light of danger against Jai Opetaia. They talk about it like it's the other way around. Jai's the man to beat, and Benavidez is the scary brother. Benavidez is the unified brother now. Benavidez is the man that holds most of the gold, and Benavidez just outperformed Bivol in his own destruction of Zurdo and did better than what we thought Jai would be able to do against Zurdo. I don't think we should be looking at Jai as the only real big dog that can stifle or stop Benavidez. We better start saying Benavidez could be the man that checks, that G checks the likes of Jai. He can check him straight up. He can pull his card. We can see Benavidez be the one to say, are you really that good? I think we're going to be there. I think it's going to be there. We're going to see Benavidez be saying, are you the one that's really as good as they say? And we're going to find out that when we say there's levels to this, I think we're going to see it again. And I love Jai Opetaia. I can't overlook that brother. What we saw, preposterous. Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Let me see. Benavidez doesn't seem interested in Jai, and it's not because it's Dubois. No, it is because it's Dubois. He said publicly he wants that fight. And he said publicly before this fight, he wanted to fight Bebo. That was his main goal. He said publicly also after the fight, I would love to fight Jai Opetaia. But it's Zuffa that's the problem. We don't want to negotiate, or rather, we don't want to fight for the Zuffa belt. And crazy enough, nobody wants to fight for the Zuffa belt. You got people who are Zuffa champions on social media, not even videoing, oh, the Zuffa belt is mine. Oh, this is what I want. You don't see Jai Opetaia touting that belt. You don't see Richardson Hitchens going after that belt. You don't see Conor Ben saying, I want to get the Zuffa belt under my control. You see them all calling out Ryan Garcia. You see them all calling out Devin Haney. You see them, I want the WBC. I want the IBF. I want the big green belt. I want all these other belts. And no notion that they're even caring about the Zuffa title. And the other sanctioning bodies, and I guarantee the other promoters, this is a side of the street debate. And this is not, Jai wants to fight as well. He said it best. If Dana, Zuffa, can have Jai negotiate and come over here to fight on our card over here, perfect. We can make the fight. But Benavidez said it best. The business is going to get in the way. Because I'm not fighting for a Zuffa title. Don't you put that belt up on the line for this fight, because that means nothing to me. I'm not carrying that with the legacy I got now, because it means nothing. It is nothing. To him, it's stupid. And I understand. So, he's again, the business, I told you, the business is going to be a problem. If it turns into an all-out war, style fight like Hagler-Hearns, who goes down first, Jai or Benavidez? I think if it goes like that, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. If it went down like that, the first person to go down probably is going to be just like with Hearns and Hagler. The man with the tighter punches. And in that fight, it was Hagler. But it was Hearns who hurt Hagler first. That's the thing. If it turns to a knockdown drag-out brawl, I wouldn't be surprised if Jai Opetaia lands a shot. Because a lot of times when Benavidez goes down, it's been when he's off balance. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into, he catches him and he knocks him down. As Benavidez loses his footing, he catches him and then boom. He goes down or he gets into, he's rocked type of situation. But after that, what happened in that fight? What happened after? We saw Hagler lock in. And then was round 3, them tighter punches, it got to hurt. And Benavidez in close quarters, just like with Hagler, is a better inside worker that if it goes into that mode, who's going to shoot their shot in the range that they're at more consistently? It's Benavidez. That's the issue. Will Jai overshoot his punches? Or will Jai have the capacity to work in the same close quarters as Benavidez? Because you can say mid-range, he's got it all day long. That's your assessment to say. I think Benavidez is better than him in all 3 levels, outside, inside, and in the mid-range. But if you say Jai has the advantage mid-range, no problem there. He's definitely dangerous. But if we see that it gets to close quarters, just like with Zurdo, and Jai will be more than happy to oblige with going into a close quarters sentiment because he doesn't want to move around the ring to destroy you. He wants to be able to play on his feet and get his punches off. Benavidez, you'll oblige as well. But in that same range, I've never seen a person beat him in that range. And the power isn't enough. The power is not enough. It's how you deliver that power in the range that Benavidez wants to be at. That's what wins you today. That's what gets you the success. And that's what I don't know if Jai's able to do. That's me. That's me. I'm not saying you have to agree, but for me, that's what it is. So I would say Benavidez gets rocked in or goes down first, but he wins the fight ultimately. I would say he wins the fight ultimately if it does turn into that type of war. Let me see. What was it? Random Entertainment? What's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the live. Also, please keep on liking the stream if you haven't already. Join the Empire and subscribe if you haven't to come be a part of our community. And please keep on sharing the show with everybody that you know. We got 12 people in the chat. If we can get 12 people to like this stream, it will bring 15 people. Then it'll bring 20. Then it'll bring 30. The more you like, the more discourse we can have. If you were here Tuesday, you know how good this show can be. So I'm telling you right now, the more the merrier. We want to hear all of your sentiments and all of your thoughts and reactions to our conversations on our show today. Let me see. Benavidez needs to fight Bivol and better be at first. Hopefully by then, Jai's Zuffa contract is over, so the fight could happen. I mean, the best case scenario, because Bivol and Benavidez have already been in talks reaching out to each other. That's been confirmed by him. If we can get them back to back, that would be beautiful. I would love it. If we get Bivol and better be at first, fine. I would love that as well. What I would hope would happen, and this falls into Dana White. This falls into Dana White. Dana White does not like negotiating with the other promoters in boxing. If this fight, and for his own validity in Zuffa, I would hope that he negotiates with the Zone and PBC to get this fight with Jai Opetaia to happen on PBC grounds. Because if Jai Opetaia wins, that's the biggest thing Zuffa can have. Validity. That bolsters everything about that promotion. And Dana White as a legit contender in the framework of boxing's ethos currently at this point in time. Because he's seen as the outside man, the outsider, the man that nobody wants to deal with. The problem child of boxing at this point in time. You're shaking up the sport for all the wrong reasons. That's what's seen right now. But if we see the likes of Benavidez make the fight with Opetaia, and Dana White does negotiate, pay fair wages, capitulate to getting his opportunity, rather than trying to strong arm his way into situations, I would love to get that fight in the middle. Bivol Opetaia. It could happen while he's under contract. It's up to him to negotiate with the other people. Play in their yard. We don't come and play in your yard. Because your yard is not a yard right now. It's still under construction. That's the truth. That's why Benavidez says, we want to fight you, but you have to come over here. This ain't a side of the street like Top Rank or PBC at that point in time. This is a literal, your people are trying to push a belt that means nothing onto a fight that should be for the unified and or undisputed titles, but because you got stripped, that fight option's no longer happening. The undisputed title aspect. And I'm not fighting for that belt because that belt is meaningless to me. That belt will not get my shine put on it because it's not, I value you. I don't value that. But your promoter, Dana White, won't make this fight unless that belt's on the line. You got to make him say that belt won't be on the line and we'll fight you for the Ring Magazine title over here in the PBC and negotiate fairly. You do that, we can make that fight tomorrow. But if you don't, it's not you that's the problem, Jai. It's not you that's the issue. It's Dana. It's Dana and the Zuffa. That's the problem. Let me see. Hypothetically, if Boots was Benavidez's size, do you think Boots would beat Benavidez in a fantasy fight? Now, this is where we can have a perfect segue into transitioning over to the last parts of this show, which is the championship rounds. Now, mind you, we still got to go after Shakur Stevenson and others, and we still got to talk about Shakur in this talk of conversation. We have a lot to talk about with that, but we can delve into the world of championship rounds real quick and go and open up the floor to everybody across the globe And let's see what you all have to say on today. It's your voice, your conversation. You control everything that we do at this point on 30 minutes to an hour. We're probably going to go an hour into this segment of the show. You all have the floor to say whatever you want to say. Questions, comments, concerns, debates in or outside of the sport on Shakur, Bam, Inoue, Benavidez, or anything else. You all got the say so to dictate how this show may go. I want to hear from you. No question about it. But let me answer your question, peel out real quick as it starts off the championship rounds of our show. And let's get it started. And you say, hypothetically, if Boots would Benavidez size, do you think Boots would beat Benavidez in a fantasy fight? In a fantasy fight, that would be difficult. Because that'll be the first time that Boots would have ever... See, it'll be the first time for each other that somebody would be this good with that speed going up against each other. And he could. He's that talented of a fighter. That'd be a good fight. That would be a really good fight. Shoot. But the X factor would be Boots dealing with what he dishes out. Benavidez could be a mirror of speed and volume that we've seen Benavidez be at countless situations. And when it comes to, again, the biggest X factor is that inside game. How would Boots deal with the inside work of Benavidez? When we've seen Boots on the inside get caught with stuff that if he was defensively responsible, he wouldn't get caught with. That's the question. That's the real dilemma. And so I don't know. I really don't know. He definitely would have the skills to beat him. I'm not sure who would win that fight. I'm really not sure who would win that fight. Because the athleticism, the uniqueness, the agility of Boots, and all that'd be a tough. That'd be definitely, if there was a fight that I'd pick Benavidez to lose, it would be that. It would be, if there was a fight that Benavidez could lose, if it was same height with each other, it would be that fight. But it would take that type of opponent for me to say that somebody can beat Benavidez. It's either him or Usyk. Or maybe Moses Itauma. But something of that all-around level skill would be necessary to beat him. So he would definitely have the best odds out of anybody. That might be just as much of a 50-50 fight as I can think about, if I'm being completely honest, when I'm talking about what that fight would look like against each other. But let me keep on reading you all's thoughts and comments on today. Let me see. Yo, RXT, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our stream on today. Salute to you. Keep on liking the stream if you haven't already. You say Jai KO's David. I don't think he will. I don't think he would. Now, I know it's possible, but like I said, I don't think that he will. I don't think that he'll do it. Where's that? Wardley versus Dubois prediction. I did give my prediction for that at the start of the show. We let off the show with me saying that Dubois, I said, I think he'll beat Wardley. I think he'll knock out Wardley because if Wardley gets tired late yet again and has to rely on his Hail Mary shots, Dubois has the power and the poise when it comes to pressure to be able to stop him and make it so that doesn't work this time. I'm not saying he can't get knocked out. He can't. But if it gets pushed late and if it turns into a war of attrition, I think Dubois has a better stamina gas tank and is better in late rounds than Wardley. Because when Wardley's technique fails, it's when he's tired. And now he's just swinging wildly. Dubois' technique doesn't really change regardless of his fatigue, thankfully. Or else he'd be knocked out even more. But unless Wardley has improved drastically from the last time we saw him fight, which was against Joseph Parker, unless he's gotten better greatly, it may be controversial, but I think we're going to see Dubois win. So I think we're going to, and I picked him to knock out Fabian Wardley. Let me see. He ducked Jai just like he ducked Just like Canelo, David's doing the same to Jai. This is completely different. It has been, this is completely different. This has been explicitly stated that the only reason why this fight isn't able to happen next is because of the business of boxing and the Zone and PBC working with Dana White and Zuffa. This is a promotional problem. This is not a fighter's problem. It's not. I promise you it's not. If it was, I would have been the first to say it. We've been tracking the whole inception of Zuffa and everything building up to this whole moment. I said the day this thing got made, we can run into some issues real quick with anybody who signs with Zuffa. And lo and behold, Jai Opetaia got stripped. Richard the Hitchens ain't a champion no more because the IBF was going to strip him. Promotions don't want to work with him. They're getting paid big bags, but they're now outside of the umbrella of the bad, they're on the bad side of the promoters' spectrum. The Frank Warrens, the Eddie Hearns, the Bob Arums, the Al Haymans, all of those sect of people that matchmake, they don't want anything to do with them at all. Because they don't want anything to do with Dana White specifically. And Zuffa as a brand seems to be potentially very predatory. So it's concerning on a lot of different levels. And anybody who goes there in the first inception, it's a chance that it can work out for you. But if it doesn't, we're going to run into situations like Jai, where it's not the fighter's fault, but it's the business that is now fighting over the head of the fighters. As to why stuff ain't going down. That's why this ain't what Canelo did to Benavidez or what Bivol did to Benavidez. This ain't like that. Let me see. Would you want to collab on my combat sports stream Sundays on Twitch? I mean, I'm down for it now. I'm still trying to get my stuff together in all reality. But hey, look, we collaborations and stuff, it can work out. It can definitely work out. And if it may not be this Sunday outright, I think I got some stuff planned for that. But we can make something shake. And I'm down for it, absolutely. Let me see. Business is an excuse. You got it wrong. Now, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying. I get it completely. Because the business of boxing has been used. It is hypocritical. It's corrupt. It has been used as a tactic to make stuff not happen. I completely feel that way. Absolutely. But there are points in time where certain business things, it's problematic that we can't ignore. The business of boxing made it so that Tyson Fury and Usyk wasn't happening. More so because Tyson Fury was asking for so much money. Absolutely. The business, but that was a fighter situation. The business of boxing made it so that Al Heyman and Bob Arum weren't able to make Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence for 5 years. Problematic. Because wrong side of the street. The business of boxing has made it so that fighters who are champs get stripped. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I lost whatever leverage I had. Because the business of boxing has made it so that people like Canelo and others were able to keep and fight champions the way that they were. And people like Benavidez and Billy and boxers all across the landscape were robbed of opportunities. It's not, there are things that, some business can be used and has been used as an excuse. But there are other situations where Benavidez has definitely been used, or not Benavidez, excuse me. There are situations where the business of boxing has been problematic. And there have been others where the business of boxing has been used by the fighter to become problematic. But they're two separate situations. And in this situation, I think it's the latter instead of the former. Now, time will tell. We shall see. We will go through. Like we said, the majority of the public said that they want to see Bivol, Beterbiev. They do want to see that fight. So this ain't like this is something that is he's avoiding smoke by not going after one of the pound for pound best in the world. Right now, he's going after the pound for pound fifth best fighter to get the fight that he was supposed to have before ever coming up to cruiserweight. And the only reason for that is because he doesn't want the Zuffa belt and he doesn't trust Zuffa as a whole, which I understand. But even in this move, he's going after somebody who is a top 5 pound for pound level fighter that many people in this chat were saying B-Ball will beat him. Many people in the chat are saying B-Ball will box the mess out of him. He'll destroy him. He'll get him out of here. It won't be. Let people go back and look at what was going on at the end of our live stream commentary. People were saying it's going to be a cakewalk. He's gonna blow through Benavidez. He's gonna outbox him. He's gonna use his feet. He's gonna use his jab. There's gonna be nothing that Benavidez can do. 12-0 was what B-Ball was gonna do to Benavidez. So when we're looking at from that, this ain't a duck. It's like when people were saying that Crawford ducked Boots when Boots got up to 147. By the time Boots got into a position to get to 147, Crawford would already had his eyes set on Canelo, and he moved up. And then while at 154, after winning a title, Boots stayed down. And Crawford kept on going after another champion. This wasn't Crawford ducking Boots. Crawford was literally moving forward in his career, taking on bigger, dangerous opposition. And Boots was the one in that situation that was lagging his feet. Now Boots is where we said he should have been when Crawford was active at the division. But we're not saying that Crawford ducked, because he didn't duck. At least not to me. Some people, they got their own story. There's some people, they got their own sentiments. That's them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying distinctly, this is not the caliber of situation where somebody's ducking somebody. Every situation is not a duck. And we said this, I think, over 9 months ago. There is an aspect in the business of boxing that is just unfair to fighters. That's why we were excited that the structure of Zuffa could be something that may quell all of this stuff, because that could potentially help out the business of boxing be less in the way. But now it's more in the way because of what Zuffa ultimately is trying to be, which is to make the other sects of boxing world obsolete, make the other lineages obsolete, make the other titles meaningless unless you're with them in the ring. And that's just, you can't, you're trying to strong arm your way into making people's legacies null and void. That's ultimately what's trying to happen. And that, especially with the way that they're practicing, going about it now, it's breeding more problems. It really, at least from my perspective, it really is. Let me see. Dana is involved. The business excuse is 100% valid. He will never come. He won't. Mind you, y'all forget. He took away sponsorships and unique attire for fighters in the UFC. Everybody wore Venom. And then everybody wore Viper, whatever the other brand was. Anything for Dana White that is not contained within his domain of ecosystem, he will not want to be a part of. He disrespected Dana. Or rather, he disrespected Eddie Hearn. He disrespected Bob Arum. He cussed out every other promoting, saying y'all a bunch of explicitives. I'll let you fill in the blank of what you think he said, because he said every single word that you can think of. And through multiple different sound bites. It's easy work. Y'all are a bunch of punks. Y'all ain't nothing. He has made it apparent. I'm going to steal everything from you. Forget working with you. I'm going to take what I want from you. And what promoter's ever going to work with it? And you underpaying people? in terms of for you overpaid the likes of Conor Ben, sure. But on everything else you underpaying as well, it's valid because it can be problematic. Boots didn't want to entertain and started fighting like the Shakur Floyd style. Would that be unfair? That style with that speed and power Boots has, it wouldn't be unfair. He would just look like a different fighter. See, I think I use this example. Inoue uses aspects of Shakur and Floyd, especially in this most recent fight with Nakatani. He went to war, sure. But you saw him fight like that against Stephen Fulton. You saw him fight like that against Nakatani. Akmadali, you saw him fighting, jabbing, moving, getting out the way, and all that stuff, counter. It's not about the stylistic makeup. It's about the mentality. What is your goal that will make you fight like you fight? And with Boots, he would be a different fighter. Absolutely. There will be situations that would make him harder in certain aspects. He'd be better defensively. He'd be much harder to hit. He would be a lot more responsible, which makes him all the more harder to ultimately do anything with. But would you view him the same way? Why are people so high on Boots and not high, or took them a minute to get high on Shakur Stevenson or on Devin Haney? Well, it was because of what their goal was in the fight. Why is Sugar Ray Leonard viewed higher than Floyd Mayweather for a lot of people? Why is Ali viewed that way? Or Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sam Langford, Henry Armstrong, Manny Pacquiao, viewed in different ways than even some of the best technicians and defensive fighters we've ever seen. It's not just because, they won, but they embodied more of the truer essence of what this sport is supposed to mean. Not that any of those other styles took away from it, but putting yourself at risk and coming out the other side clean, for many, is a lot more impactful than you just being, you can't hit me. The risk is exactly why the impressiveness of the fighter gets exacerbated. The risk is why the skill of the fighter gets even more blown up. Because you're not just being safe. You know you can't get hit, but you're so good that you're still going to risk it anyway and get out the way. Or have the perfect counter for what their counter may be. You're able to operate while applying danger, in the midst of danger, without sacrificing anything. That's harder to do. Well, that's hard to do. That's so hard to do. That's insane to do. That's why Bam is looked at as what he's looked at. Everything he's doing is right in the face of the opposition. He's putting his body on the line. Benavidez, we talk about him getting knocked out against Jai Opetaia. He's vulnerable. But guess what? He's putting himself in those vulnerable situations because of the goal. I'm trying to make a statement. The ultimate statement. I'm trying to stop the fight. And whenever you put your neck out in a situation and you come out unscathed, it's a lot more impactful for people than just you played it safe. There's nothing wrong with being defensively clean. We love that. Absolutely. Master classes are incredible. But the lasting impact of it's a risk, but you're still walking the plank, that's a different type of structure. That's a different type of mental makeup. That's a different type of ability. That because Boots does that, he wouldn't be as big of a star, nor would have been one of the faces of the sport, like we're talking about him now, if he didn't fight this way. And because he fights this way, guess what? We're saying he can be pound number one. We're saying because of the way that he fights, if he never changed and only got better in this style, he could be better than Shakur. He could outshine Devin Haney. He could overshoot Inoue. Usyk, good gosh. He could crack that top 5 within the span of 2 years if he fights against the competition level in this same vein, because doing this is ridiculous. Roy Jones Jr. wouldn't have been as great if he didn't fight like Roy, because he did stuff that Floyd couldn't do. And Floyd was in his prime, legit prime, knocking people out prime, when Roy was in the ring in his prime. And guess what? Floyd Mayweather was not even lacing his shoes in conversations of pound for pound. It wasn't. You brought up Floyd at the same time Roy was at his peak. When Floyd was at his true physical peak, it wasn't a doubt in their mind of who's better. It wasn't even close. It was laughable if you compared the two at that point in time. That's not disrespect. That's what he was. Because what he did should not be possible. The risk is so great, but you're greater than the risk that you take. That's the mark of a great fighter. You're greater than the risk that you take. You know how hard that is? That's difficult. That's really hard, man. That's a different level of that breeds a different level of respect for people. Understandably so. And to operate in that risk, I wouldn't want Boots to fight any other way. Because guess what? If Boots did fight any other way, he would be minimizing what his ability is. If he fought like Shakur or Devin Haney, he would be minimizing what the true rainbow of talent that he has at his disposal. It would be a disservice to him to fight in another style because of what he's capable of. That's the thing. That's the thing. And I don't want that compromise. This is not disrespect to Devin Haney or Shakur's style. But for Boots, that would be a downgrade of, sure, he would win even more convincingly, assumedly. But he would not be the fighter that we're talking about now, because we wouldn't be seeing what we're seeing from him. And I want to see all that he can do in the greatest place of Asia. Let me see. They both been on ring cards funded by Turkey. Jai still has the ring belt. They both have been on ring cards, absolutely. But not when Jai was signed with Zuffa. Jai, after signing with Zuffa, hasn't been on the ring card. Or if he has, it's been on a Netflix. I don't even think the only people that have been working with Zuffa hand in hand have been Netflix. And we painted this picture before. Netflix and Turkey. Oh, excuse me. Netflix. That's the wrong way. How did I say it last time? Turkey and the ring. Netflix. The zone. The three big triangle. Turkey. Netflix. They have a connection. Turkey. The zone. And all the people under the zone, they have a connection. The zone, Zuffa, they have no connection. Though Turkey and Zuffa have a connection. All three got to want to say they want to come together to make something shake. Even though the ring and Turkey have worked with the zone and Netflix. All three of them got to come together in this regard, because it's going to take that type of compromise, at least at this point in time. When it comes to, it's more than just money being thrown. It's about, do we give Dana White as promoters the capacity to be on our same level, and do we make his belt as valid as as the big four and the ring that we have right now? Because if that happens, it changes the whole landscape of everything. It changes the whole landscape of everything if that does take place. And it's a war. It's a fight. It's an above the fighter's head type of fight. Though we may not like it, it's the truth of the matter. Also, real quick, I do want to make sure we do have Shakur Stevenson on the thumbnail. And I forgot there was a segment about Shakur I didn't want to touch on and talk about for Shakur's next steps in his boxing career. We do want to make sure we at least get into that because I did tease it. I got to make sure we have it somewhere. But we're still in the championship rounds and we still want to hear from you, the public, viewing and listening all across the world, in your home, at your job, on your break, in a classroom, I don't care where, in a winery, in a doggone steel mill, I don't care where you may be. Put this show on. Tell your bosses about it. Tell your teachers, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, everybody that this is the hottest place to be and the greatest show in all of the globe, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. But let me keep on reading your chats before I go into the last kind of big segment that I wanted to touch on with Shakur Stevenson, because there's some stuff I wanted to say about that. Absolutely. I do want to make sure I make some time for it on our show. But let me see. I agree, Boots is the absolute beast. I'm glad you agree as well. Moses Atama versus Benavidez, maybe 2 or 3 years from now. Yes, yeah. That's viable. That's viable. If Benavidez goes back down to light heavyweight, Atama gets his shot against a big name player, and he's already ranked number 1 in WBA. He keeps winning, he's gonna be ranked number 1 on about 2 or 3 different sanctioning bodies. So he's gonna have his pick of the litter. Somebody's gonna have to face him, whoever that may be. And so you doggone right, it could be by that time. And with Benavidez also saying, or his dad saying in interviews, we got 2 or 3 years before we want to commit fully to heavyweight. They've said that on record. Already, his dad has said that on record. You can find the interview. You can find the soundbite. I'm not just bringing it up. It's real. He said that himself. David Benavidez Sr., his dad. So because of that, yeah, it's entirely possible. Now, how good is Atama by that time? We don't know. How good is Benavidez by that time? We don't know. Because they're both in a maturation stage. Benavidez just looked the best he's ever looked, and most of the time has yet to be the best that he can be, but he has gotten better significantly in his last 3 fights. So we have a lot of questions that we need to ask. Also, hold on, we got paid again. Yo, Mr. Miyagi, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream today. Thank you and salute to you for the $2 super chat on our live stream. Let me see what you say on today. Jean-Luc, what's good, fella? Keep up the good way. Hey, man, look, we appreciate it. We love the support, and we still want to hear from you and any questions, comments, and concerns. We're going to keep on giving you this type of information and this type of entertainment. Hopefully, you're entertained. Hopefully, like I know, I'll try to do the best I can to make it so that y'all feel like this show is worthwhile. But we can't do this without you all, and we appreciate the well sentiments, and we want to hear your thoughts and opinions because we're still in the championship rounds. We love and respect the well wishes, and we appreciate the alms to the empire and the donations because we are funded by you, and you all help make this channel what it is and what it can be. And because of that, we need your support if in any capacity, even if it's just you leaving a like, sharing the show, subscribing, hitting the hype buttons on the individual videos, all that stuff. All this interaction helps us out immensely, and we don't take anything for granted for anybody who comes and supports this show in any way, shape, or form, because you all are the backbone of this community, and we cannot and will not ever forget that. And we're going to keep giving you all the best show possible. No question about it. We thank you, Mr. Miyagi, for the donations and the $2 super chat to the channel on today. Let me see. You're letting the Benavidez team trick you. To be honest, David is 30. He needs to fight Jai, Bebo, Benavidez, or even Usyk Zerto is cool. But I knew he would win against his long sparring partner. And that's perfectly fine. In terms of you knew he would win. I don't think I'm being tricked. And I'm not trying to jump the shark per se. But I do believe that the biggest problem as to Benavidez is 30. Mind you, he's in the middle of his prime. Just like with Tank. Just like with Inoue. Just like with Canelo when he was at 32 at that point in time. Or 30 to 32 years old. We get it. He is in the 3-year run. He can go and blow everything out the water. The best days are literally now. up until 2029 of the immediate prime. We understand that completely. Once that happens, okay, then things can start to decline. We are not saying that we're trying to overlook, oh, he doesn't need to do any more work. He's got work to do. If anything, him going after B-Ball, I love. But the whole point that he's been saying for a number of years, he needs to go through. He needs to, the whole thing is, he needed to go through and start taking these tests, or rather start getting these tests after the opportunity to be the man finally got to him. Because we acknowledge he was avoided for a number of years. We acknowledge that this type of crowning moment could have happened years ago with Canelo. To get him this open floodgate of everything is making easy, or is able to get going. We get it. Now, after this fight with Zurdo, which I said Zurdo was better, you all felt that some of y'all felt the same way. And sparring partners, familiarity, hey, I'm there, you're there, didn't do what Shakur did with Keyshawn Davis. I don't care if we're friends with each other or not. We gonna fight and I'm gonna win. So he did it. And he won it. And he got what he needed to do. He took care of business. No problem there. We respect it and we appreciate it. Now, just like with Canelo, just like with Benavidez and others, we got to make sure he keeps to his word. I can be excited. I can be as excited as I want. He's got to keep to his word of, we going to make a fight. Because see, here's the thing. Benavidez team is very strategic. No problem there. No problem. He's where he had been asking for, or he had been asking to be in his entire career. We got to see him. Now, stay true. You want the smoke? Great. If you think that they were strategic before, now they don't need to be strategic anymore. They are the man to go and take on the Globe. Rather, the Globe has to take them on. And Benavidez being open to any challenge, Benavidez going and saying, I want all the smoke, Benavidez working to fight the best of the best, elite of the elite, as much and as consistently as possible. We have to make sure he does, in fact, do that. We have to make sure he does do that. I don't care how much I may like him as a fighter. We cannot take the foot off the gas of, you better not make the same mistakes that we saw with Boots, that we saw with Canelo, that we've seen with other boxers like Tyson Fury, who you wasted time and you moved to the point that you were the man, you had all the cards, and now you don't take the fights that you said you wanted. Your hit list all of a sudden gets very hard to make. If it's if it's the politics of boxing that makes stuff not happen, despite your best efforts, that's a different story. But if we see that it's you that's the problem, it's a problem. It's a problem. And I mean, what will you do if he ducks the smoke? Simple. What I've done with everybody else, I call it out, or at least to the best of my ability. I've given context for these types of situations. I've painted pictures to the best of my ability, I've tried to paint a picture as to why this stuff happens, where boxing sometimes it's not the fighter's fault. I've been clear on all of that to make sure that we cover all the bases. Because I've said myself, we have thrown out the word duck a lot. And in some situations, looking back on it, it wasn't really the fighters that were at fault as to why a fight just didn't transpire. It was the politics and business that got in the way, that muddied everything up, because people and promoters get too greedy. I've said that. So I tried to push back on me saying everything is a duck. That doesn't change the fact that if we see that Benavidez doesn't keep the same fervor, doesn't keep the same talking points, isn't as transparent as he's been this up until this point, like we saw in the clip with him saying he tells people what he wants to do, he gives them a blueprint and a map of what he's trying to accomplish. If that starts to wane and we see concerning optics from his position as to, you're the reason why stuff gets messed up, then you better believe it's going to be a problem. Just like we said with Tank. Because now he's in the same position as Tank. He's in the same position as Canelo. He's in the same position as the rest of the big-time stars that he never got the shot with. You are in a bracket where you have the power that you can push the envelope. You can check people's cards to see, do they really want to smoke with me or not? Because I am the man who the risk and reward, it matches up now. You're not going to get the money that you can get with anybody else but me after this fight with Zerto. So guess what? I'm calling everybody out, and I'm sending contracts left, right, and center. Proverbially. No, assumingly. But if we don't see it, or we start to see stuff start to wane, he starts to back out of conversations. All of a sudden, stuff that should be easy to make, he is the reason why stuff is getting muddied up. Well, he doesn't change. We call him out. And we say it's a problem. It's the same. We or at least I try to keep the same standard. Knowing everything about what this sport is as a problematic business model. What you can control, you can make the move. You can try. You can push the envelope if you really want it. And we gonna see if he keeps his word. Just like with Bebo, he's in talks with Bebo. He said that publicly now. That looks like the fight he's trying to make next. Perfectly fine. Unified title. If Bebo beats Eifert, that's the fight that everybody wants to see next. If we don't see it because of his own actions, that's a problem. If we don't see that fight because potentially Benavidez and Bebo, their agreed upon rematch is still on Turkey Al Sheikh's desk of y'all still gotta validate this before you can fight anybody else, that's a whole nother can of worms. But depending on how it goes, we gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna to the best of my ability, we gonna try to keep it as even keel as possible. Let me see. I just don't believe anything Benavidez says. Hope he proves me wrong. I mean, like, word is bond. We gonna see what he does. We gonna see what he does. Like I said, there were a lot of people that thought that this fight with Zerto at cruiserweight was blowing smoke. Didn't actually happen. So I'm like, I'm not gonna overly trust, but I'm also not gonna, with what they've recently done, I gotta say, okay, I will take your word for it until you show me otherwise. But I'm keeping an eye out because we gotta make sure that you keep to your word. Just like we said with Boots. When he wanted to be undisputed. You said you wanted to be undisputed. You said you wanted to move up. And then you stay back down and you didn't become undisputed. We had a problem. So try to keep it as even as good. Let's see, if Inoue moves up to featherweight, who do you want him to fight first? I want him, most likely Angelo Lee would be my, well, because of how Inoue normally moves, not Angelo Lee. If I see him move up to fight first, go on into the deep end at this point. At this point, because I'm about legacy. And the biggest legacy move we could do, beat Espinoza first. Beat Espinoza first. First fight I want to see. Beat up. Nick Ball didn't fight him. I don't know if we're going to get Shakur to fight him. Get Espinoza. And make that fight. And it's the biggest test. But because we're talking about Inoue, I'm so accustomed to him taking on the biggest challenge possible. Give it to him. Give it to him. And then afterwards, take a fight with, a top 10 guy. And then go and fight Shakur. Take his belt. Then fight Brandon Figueroa. Take his belt. Unless Brandon and Espinoza are fighting against each other. Then that's the case. Beat Espinoza, take both of the belts, and then go through and take a tune-up fight before fighting Shakur. Because he been moving mighty quick. It's been, 4 fights last year? Already got a fight this year? He might be taking it slower. But if he's only fighting twice a year, looking how he's looking now, if he doesn't fight Bam and fights at featherweight, yeah, go on and take on Espinosa. Let me see what that fight would look like for me. Let me see. David looks. I was impressed by him by stopping Zurdo. I had David winning before the fight. I didn't think it would be close, but I didn't see Zurdo blowing up like that. Yeah, man, that gained a lot of respect for a lot of people. Miyagi, I completely understand that, no question. Let me see. Tell those PBC guys to move the same. Hiding behind the promotion company, being loyal, and I get that. There are fighters that do that, and like I said, we want Al Heyman. People like him as a promoter, understandably so. He does take care of his fighters. So I get the loyalty aspect of it, but yeah, we want to see people move. We do want to see people amp up. So I get it. I get it completely. Let me see. Kim Duco died November 18th, 1982 after 14-round bout. Yeah, wasn't that the fight that changed the rules so we don't have 15-round fights again? I think that was the fight that we got to see fights go from 15 to 12 as the longest they can go. So I think this is one of the most important fights in boxing history. Also, Jason, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the live stream on today. So that is a good tidbit of knowledge. And now I think the perfect compromise would be championship fights are the only fights that go 15 rounds. As in not interim, world championship fights are the only fights that go 15 rounds. And then everything else is 12 and under. I think that's the compromise that I would be fine with. Because those 15-round fights, they bring something different out of a boxer. And with the protections that we have in place for today's boxing landscape, I think we can be able to afford to have those extra rounds because the attention to fighter health is so much more higher that we have a better opportunity to stifle stuff before it gets to that dangerous sentiment. Doesn't mean that fighters still haven't sadly passed away. Sadly, it's a nature of the game that will never be fully gone. And we pay respect to everybody who sadly died inside the ring or in the aftermath of said fight. We understand that completely. However, I think we're at a point where we can afford to push these limits because of the level of safety that's now established in boxing at a scale that it wasn't in 1982. At least to me. So, but again, that's just my opinion on it. I keep seeing people downplaying the Junto win like crazy on YouTube. It's nasty when a lot of these fighters on this list barely fight at a top 10 level in their own divisions, let alone active pound for pound fighters. It's like we said, people want blood and guts. Everybody, Showbiz the Adult even said this. Everybody said that they loved technical fighting. Shakur, Devin Haney, Hitchens, and others, we're not respecting the technical fights. We got one with Inoue and Nakatani. And then immediately afterwards, we got Zurdo Benavidez. And Showbiz, Phil, or Wade from the Wade Concept, and a bunch of other people that were all loving, rightfully so, Shakur and Devin Haney, they all said, you know what I found out? I love violence. The best fights you can make are fights that are knockdown, drag-out brawls. Fights where there's blood everywhere. Beatdowns, not technical affairs, beatdowns. Violence is what they crave. They said that's a quote. That ain't me. Violence is what they want. That's a quote. That ain't me trying to make it. That's what they said. So all that stuff about what they wanted wasn't actually what they wanted to see as a paying customer. This isn't me diminishing, but it's the hypocrisy. Because now all of a sudden, Inoue's fight wasn't entertaining at all. Nakatani wasn't entertaining at all. But now, y'all still want Devin Haney and Shakur to get the respect. Why don't y'all want to pay for them? Well, We just had the pound for pound number 1 and number 8 guy put on one of the best technical affairs where they were doing matrix level dodges while taking insane chances and still boxing incredibly sublimely on both fronts. And you said that wasn't fun. And do you know why? Do you know why? You know why I said that? You know why they said it wasn't fun? You know why they said it wasn't entertaining? Because you don't know what you're watching. You don't understand boxing. You don't know the sweet science for real. Wasn't that the claim? Wasn't that the concern? Wasn't that the problem with why people didn't understand why Shakur was so good? Why you're hating on Devin Haney? Why you are valuing Richardson Hitchens? Huh? Why you don't like the Floyd Mayweathers? You don't understand boxing? You don't understand the sweet science? You don't get the real meaning of what the sport's supposed to be about? It's hit and not get hit. Huh? Wasn't that the thing? It's hit and not get hit. You're not supposed, a good fighter ain't supposed to get touched. He's supposed to make somebody seem mundane. It's supposed to be boring because you're seeing a master at work. You're seeing a paintbrush. You're seeing an artist. You're seeing somebody who understands this sport down to a molecular level. You just don't know boxing. Ain't that what we saw? Wasn't that the common phrase? Floyd Mayweather Sr. You don't know jack about boxing. No, he didn't use jack, but you get what I'm saying. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about boxing. That was the literal sentiment. In fact, where's my thing? Where's my thing? You don't know about boxing. That was the literal. That's a T-shirt quote. I ain't saying. I'm just using the bleep as the explicitive. Because you get what I'm saying. And now you want to flip the script. You don't know nothing about boxing. By your own accord, you don't know a thing about boxing. You think you wasted your money? You don't know a thing about boxing. You think you wasted time? You don't know a thing about boxing. You think you wasted energy? And saying that fight was a non-competitive, uneventful affair? You don't know a lick about boxing. You just saw two of the best in the world go at it in a level that we hadn't seen in a mighty long time, and he still went to war by the time the last 4 rounds went. I want to see rematch of that fight. I paid to see a rematch of that fight. And y'all saying now is a problem? I hate it. I hate it. And these are the voices that are pushing people in this sport. These are the voices, or these are the sentiments. Let me not say voices. These are the sentiments said by people that are pushing the sport into a direction that it shouldn't be going to. I despise it, man. I really despise it. And yeah, who's also younger, bigger, and a puncher. Yeah, we forget that. Nakatani was younger, 27 to 32. Nakatani's had just as many fights and was taller and was a knockout artist. And a southpaw. Like everything that was supposed to be a problem, he took it on without hesitation. People they don't like it. They don't like it. They don't respect it. They just don't respect it. Inoue versus Bam should happen before Inoue moves up, and I think it will. Be clear on this right now. I think it will. That fight, Inoue was vague in saying, "Let me take a rest and then go through and come back and say what I want to do." But he has already stated he wants to stay around for this fight and another special fight, his words paraphrasing, that he would like to have before going up to 122. He said that in his own accord in an interview. He is trying to stay for this Bam fight. He wants to stay for the Bam fight. He's going to stay for the Bam fight. He's going to stay for the Bam Rodriguez fight. He's got enough in the tank right now. He can wait one more division before moving up ultimately. And he can do it. I guarantee you he can do it. And he's going to pass that test with flying colors. Mark my words. Mark my words. Well, let me not say pass the test because that's going to be a war. He is going to get ready for that fight. That's why he's going to be taking a lot of time off. Watch. What? We saw, I'm telling you. We saw him fight 4 times last year. Get active, stay active, and was active. He built his way into this fight with Nakatani. He fought to get to the biggest fight of his life. Literally, this was the biggest fight of his life. And now after this, he's going to take it slow. He's going to pull a Terrence Crawford. He's going to let Bam fight Vargas. If Bam fights Vargas and beats him, that fight will be made, I guarantee you, by the end of the year. It's not going to be immediate. Turkey Al Sheikh wants it next year in January. Inoue, after conquering everybody, would be fully within his right and be accepted by the public. I'm not going to fight until the Bam fight. And everybody would say, I understand. Because this ain't like Rico Verhoeven. This ain't holding the division hostage. This is, I beat everybody in my division. And now the only man left just has to win his one fight. And he gets a shot at the title. I've beaten every mandatory and top 5 caliber fighter that has swung through this division. There's nobody else for me to fight. And everybody else also recognizes that. So, it's Bam. He's going to stay for Bam. It's going to happen. And it most likely, if this stadium in Japan, 80,000 seat baseball stadium in Japan, if that's true, they're going to try to make it by next year. All Bam's got to do is win and not fight again. That's it. Just win. Just win, and you make that, and both of them make that fight immediately. And I promise you, almost assuredly, we won't see Inoue fight again until we see Bam fight and beat Vargas. And then 2027, January, February, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mark my words. It's going to happen. Also, real quick, hold on, wait. We're making money. Wait a second. Hold on. We appreciate the 10. I'm sorry, I said $10 last time. The €10 super chat on our stream. We thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you giving also the Empire. And we appreciate you donating to our cause. Yes, sir. And helping support this channel so much. Well, let me see what you got to say. They say he's too aggressive and he gets dropped early. So when against a pound-for-pound fighter, he is even more defensively sound. They start to moan. A lot of these guys just hate him. That's the thing. He said this before Picasso. I'm going to try to be more responsible because I took too many risks when I was at 118 to 122, really trying to push the pace. He said that. And now he's trying to walk in a more responsible, fundamental style. Take less punishment while still being aggressive. And he's still boxing beautifully. He's still being defensively sound and still getting his shots off. He's just not foregoing the smaller stuff in boxing that he used to forego because he was so good. That's it. It's a more refined Inoue, which is insane to say. I didn't think he could get better than this, but he is a better technical fighter than he was against Stephen Fulton. I never thought I'd hear today. I did not think we could see a better step up in technique and ability and prowess and boxing IQ than what we saw that night against Stephen Fulton. I thought that was the pinnacle. Who was also pound for pound top 10 in the world as a fighter, as a technician. He cleaned him out, and I didn't think he could get better. He got better. I did not think I could see the day. Insane. Ridiculous. But that's what happened. He got better. He got better. And to some degree, if Boots took that same moniker, not going overly into the deep end of Shakur Stevenson, but being more responsible, like we had seen in this fight with Stanionis, this same evolution can happen to him. Mind you, I said if he changed to fight like them, he wouldn't be the same fighter that we talk about. But if he tweaked and took some of their stuff and applied it to himself, that's not changing you. That would only elevate you while still keeping Boots at the core of a fighter as still the core of his makeup. That's the Boots I want to see. I don't want to see him go fully into Shakur. I want to see him take a little, not a lot, a little of Shakur. And that fundamental attention to detail, the discipline, and apply that to his current landscape of game. And that fighter can shake up the globe. That's what I want to see from him, if we get to see it. But that's another conversation for today. But real quick, before we continue, and again, Mr. Miyagi, thank you. We appreciate, again, the 10-year super chat. And if you still want to keep on supporting the channel, keep on subscribing, keep on sharing, and keep on liking the stream. We're over time, I understand, but we're having such good conversation. We love it. We appreciate it. No question about it. But I do want to make sure that we talk about Shakur before we get out of here. I don't want to leave this on the table as a topic of conversation, because we have it in the thumbnail. We got it in chat. Rather, we got it in the title. We got to make sure we at least discuss it in some regard. And that is the next step for Shakur's career and where he should go as he continues to progress and turn himself into one of the biggest stars in the sport. And I want you to hear why I asked this, because he's had some clips in a recent interview regarding his next steps and how he doesn't really have any more goals to accomplish in his career, and undisputed isn't the main thing that he's trying to aspire to be. And I'm going to let him tell you exactly why. But here's a clip of Shakur talking about why his goal for his fight or for his career has now changed. Real quick, making sure y'all can see it. Okay, y'all can see it. Here's the clip, and we'll play it right now.
Besides you, Africa going out the weight division. He went to 47, went to Zuffa. It's just you, Dalton Smith, and Gary. IBF is vacant. So there's a legitimate chance that you can have a possibility to be undisputed in the weight class.
Is that still a goal of yours?
Nah. I don't really care.
I think the last time I talked to you was like, that's a little watered down at this point.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Because you got to realize with the undisputed thing, is like, it's situational. Like,
that's true.
If somebody is in the right situation, they can be undisputed. Mm-hmm. And it can be any fighter. Like, it ain't like it's some...
Cambosos.
Yeah, George.
You feel me? So, at the end of the day, I just feel like it's a situational thing. Now, it's good to have the accomplishments, but what do we do with the accomplishments now? Like, what do? We just say we got him?
I don't think you necessarily need shit. Floyd won undisputed. Look at him. There's a lot of fighters that won undisputed. And they shit something. A majority. Who's your Mount Rushmore?
My Mount Rushmore, probably Floyd, Andre Ward, Bud, Pernell Whitaker. I like Sugar Ray Leonard.
Only one of them was undisputed.
Bud.
That's it.
And so we and Margie, there's a lot to take from that clip. Understandable. I've asked this because it's a multi-layered sentiment. Mount Rushmore conversation we can talk about, absolutely. Shakur and his movement in his career, we're gonna talk about that first though, because we got some stuff that we need to say. More specifically, he says that undisputed is isn't what it used to be. Well, what did it used to be? All of a sudden, mind you, the very reason why Terrence Crawford is, in my opinion, one of the 10 best fighters I've ever seen in my life was because he became 3-time undisputed champion. He did something that only Henry Armstrong had ever done, not just in his era, in the history of boxing. He was the only man, to my knowledge, to be 3-time undisputed champion, where one belt was, when it was one belt in the division, he won belts in 3 separate divisions as the only man to reign at the top. It didn't make any sense. It was almost 100 years up until we got to see somebody get to that point. Mind you, 2-time undisputed champion. He was the first to do it in history, or rather, the first to do it in the 4-belt era, and the first to do it in the modern era since Henry Armstrong. Don't forget that. And then Inoue was the second man to do it in the modern era, again since Henry Armstrong, and after Terrence Crawford, to get 2-division undisputed champion. 1-division undisputed for the history of this sport has been rare. It ain't common. It ain't. It's not. Like, and so, undisputed, I don't know why it always, you're using Kambosos. I don't think anybody using Kambosos' reign to water down this situation. I don't even know if was Kambosos undisputed. I know he had the majority of the belts. Was he even undisputed in this division? Undisputed. Yes or no? I can't remember. Was he undisputed when he took the belt, or was he not? Okay, so Kambosos held the WBA, IBF, WBO, and WBC franchise title when he beat the likes of Teofimo Lopez. Now, that whole situation is the franchise title for the WBC, the real WBC belt at that point in time. I don't know whether or not that goes through as to whether that makes him undisputed or not. He won 4 belts, but we don't know if one of those belts was real. Perfectly fine. If you claim him as that, okay, great. I have no issue there. Guess what? He lost it in his next fight against Devin Haney. And then Devin Haney legit became the undisputed champion. And then he defended it again. Jermell Charlo was champ, and at the time that he was champ, it was a big deal because he was undisputed at 154, and he was one of the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in the land because of that accomplishment. And he had earned it. In a way, with him being undisputed, it's the whole reason why we are saying he is, or it's a part of why we're saying he is pound-for-pound number 1. If Shakur became undisputed, he would be top 2 for the majority of the boxing globe, if not number 1. I don't want to hear that undisputed doesn't mean anything. It does mean there's a subsect of boxers. More specifically, there's a subsect of people in boxing that are causing the type of accomplishments, the mic's not in front of me, my apologies. There's a subsect of people that are causing accomplishments to lose its weight. For some reason, I don't know. It seems like in part it's because their favorite fighter doesn't have those same accomplishments. That's what it's feeling like. But to me, that's ridiculous. Also, we got paid again. Hold on a second. Mr. Miyagi, we appreciate the €5 super chat on our stream for today. Absolutely. And let me see what you had to say with your €5 super chat. We appreciate it so much. And we're so happy that you chose to give to the Empire on our show yet again. But let me see what you had to say. Undisputed shows you're the king of the division. Why do these fighters just keep doing this? Great job, Shakur, for degrading Terrence Crawford. And to be honest, yes, this very sentiment puts Terrence Crawford's accomplishments to shame. It diminishes him beating Canelo. Do we forget that? This is with anybody who says that titles don't mean anything. This diminishes you beating Canelo. This makes that whole win obsolete, or to some degree null and void, in a manner that shows we shouldn't respect it. It's saying stuff like that is saying we should not respect Terrence Crawford. Him beating Errol Spence was not nearly as potent. It means nothing, or it means less. We're disrespecting Canelo, who I believe also became a two-time undisputed champion. Let me not leave him out of the mix when it comes to this conversation. And I'm using the echo so I can give you the gravity of said situation. But everybody that has been the foundational face of this sport and or controlling this sport, even now with Usyk beating Fury means nothing based on Shakur and other people's sentiments. It's why we keep on going through this cycle. Until you got it, you say it doesn't mean anything. Now when you got it, oh, it means something. I can understand if you're robbed of opportunities to get the titles. I get that, because the business, yeah, you gotta fight the business of boxing and boxers themselves to get yourself in a position for an undisputed title opportunity. You gotta win. You gotta keep on winning. You gotta keep on defending an interim belt that gives you a guaranteed shot, and then you gotta hope that you get made a mandatory. And if you do, you gotta hope the champion actually gets to the negotiating table and says, yeah, we'll make the fight. And if you lose once, you're gone. Just like that. It's hard. It's really hard. But that's why it's so incredible. Because if you can overcome that, and especially in today's thing, like you didn't just beat the fighter, you beat the sport. You didn't just beat the fighter, you beat the sport. You beat the game. If you become undisputed, a game that almost nobody wins when it comes to this game of boxing. Almost nobody wins this game. Because every time somebody's undisputed, you gotta beat, beyond just the boxers, you gotta beat the business. You gotta be a big enough star. You got to make sure that you don't lose. You got to make sure that you're worth the risk. You got to build your stuff up and be perfect and have the ability to say, I am the only viable option that earned and deserved the title shot, and I won. That's hard to do. That's difficult to do. I don't care what. So to have that, to say that it doesn't mean anything. It's ridiculous. And also, let me see. No, Devin Haney had the WBC. So, hey, Devin Haney had the actual WBC title. Well, if that's the case, then boom. Well, then Kambosos wasn't even champion. So you can't even use him in this claim of undisputed. It's preposterous. And again, let me see. Huts, how you doing? Good to hold on. Let me get myself. How you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the show. We are so happy that you tuned in with us on today. Let me see what you have to say on our show. Since Undisputed is so great, that must mean Josh Taylor is the best 140 of all time. No, he's not the best 140 of all time, but it holds weight. That's why, in part, he was top 10 pound for pound. That's why when T.O. beat him, the way that he beat him, it was like, oh my gosh. That's not common. Especially with the up and downs of T.O.'s career going into said fight. This doesn't mean that you're the best in the land, but I've said this before. If you got undisputed titles, you got a legitimate claim to say I'm one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the globe. And it's not a joke, like for real. The accomplishment itself should never be diminished. And the bigger thing, again, because since we're talking about Shakur, the fact that Shakur is thinking this way is going to hinder his own career and growth of what it can potentially be. He could be an undisputed champion. If you mean to tell me that at 140, he went and beat Dalton Smith, Gary Antoine Russell, and he beat T.O. to become undisputed champion, who wouldn't look at that resume and say, oh my gosh, with everything else he's already done, beating Jamal Herring early on, outboxing a prime Oscar Valdez, going and knocking out a knockout artist in Yoshino, keeping on winning, keep on dominating, moved up to 135, kept on winning, kept on dominating, beat William Zepeda, beat Horatunia before that, then goes up and beats T.O. in his first fight at 140, and then cleans out every other division or all the other fighters in that division to become undisputed champion. Who wouldn't look at that resume and say, oh my goodness, this is the type of greatness we would want to see? That's what undisputed can get you. But if he doesn't want to go after it, forget you discrediting other fighters who've already done stuff. He would have lost his own right to gain the same level of respect, because you didn't say that that road isn't worth it, and that's problematic. Because then we can say, in a way, taking the belts one by one against everybody in his various divisions, that means nothing. And again, that's preposterous. That's preposterous. To me, that's I don't agree with that. And if I'm going to go with next steps for his career, if he doesn't go up to 147 straight up, because there's some talk saying he's trying to go there, like, you got business to handle at 140. And this type of talk makes it so that type of business may not happen. I don't want to see that. I want to see Shakur versus Andy Hiroka. I want to see Shakur versus Gary Antoine Russell. I want to see Shakur versus Dalton Smith. Why? Like these are names that if he doesn't go down that road, yes, Hiroka isn't a champion, I understand, but just as a fight, we could lose out on all of that. He may fight Devin Haney at a catch weight of 144, hypothetically, but even still, Devin Haney ain't even undisputed at this point in time. So it's going to be one-stop shop and then up. Maybe Ryan Garcia, but then I'm going to move back down and move. I don't want that to happen. If you keep undisputed in your sights, you can take on a resume that's worth its weight in gold, so that even if you don't get there of undisputed, people look back and say, oh my gosh, look at this trail of quality that is behind him. People can look back and say, who's this trail of, look at this trail of work that you've done, and say, my goodness, it's a sight to see. You shoot for the moon, you still land amongst the stars. But if you get to the moon, it's even better. That's what we're saying. Keep on shooting for the moon. Don't stop your steps and say undisputed ain't a goal anymore. It should still be a goal. It absolutely should be. Especially if you want to follow in the footsteps of your mentor and friend in Terrence Crawford. This should be the ultimate goal for you. It really should. It really should. Let me see. Well, I think somebody else had a chat. I wasn't trying to get out the way of. Where's that? Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Undisputed shows you're the best and that you beat everybody. It's a signifier. It's a signifier. It is in this muddy world of boxing. Undisputed is the clearest signifier. Who is the best in this division right now? No question. No debate. No 4 champions. Who is the one man to take them all? That's what undisputed does, and that's what always should be the case. That's what always should be the case. If we had one belt, this wouldn't be as much of a problem. But because we don't have one belt, we need this. And in an era where everything is so convoluted, you make a pathway straight where you're the only eyes that are seen by the public in a division. It affects you greatly, man. It affects you greatly. It affects you greatly. I mean, let me see. So Crawford cleaned out 168. Well, I mean, here's the thing. That's a different situation, but it caused the same outcome. Because Canelo had cleaned out that whole division. And then you came in and beat the man who beat everybody else. So that's like, oh shoot. Again, and that shouldn't have happened. And nobody was saying anybody else except for Benavidez could beat Canelo at 168 at that division. So you beat the man who had done everything. And you came up and you took his crown after there was nobody else in sight. Because they were all dead. And you shouldn't have even been able to compete. That's why that accomplishment is so incredible. I mean, Inoue did it when he took all 3 belts. I think he took all the belts when he fought Stephen Fulton. He took the majority of them when he fought Stephen Fulton in that first fight. When Usyk fought AJ, he hadn't fought Tyson Fury yet. He hadn't fought the likes of Wilder still. But when he beat him, he took the majority of the belts. And it was like, oh my gosh. So just by you getting the title, even if it's just one fight and you win it all, you took out the brother. Even Kambosos, even though we can say that Tio wasn't actually undisputed because of the whole franchise title situation, Devin Haney had the actual WBC championship. Understandable. Even with that, guess what? Kambosos beating Tio shook up the entire globe. You beat the man that was seen as the face of this division. And took, by the WBC, they want to say he was undisputed. I don't know. Either way, you beat the man that had one of the clearest visions, and people were calling you undisputed. And it was like, what? Because, yeah, it was one fight, but who you beat was the guy that everybody said is his division, nobody else's. And so, like, I can't. I don't see why people say that it doesn't mean that he don't got no weight. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let me see. Also, Mr. Miyagi, thank you again for the €5 super chat on the day. Let me keep on reading your thoughts and opinions on our show, and we appreciate the arms to the empire yet again. This is why I respect Inoue so much, because he beat the champs and all but Kim, who was a replacement. Kim was a replacement because Sam Goodman got injured. Have been top 10 at 122. Yep, and you're right. And so, like, we don't want, ultimately all of this is to say, Inoue gets some respect because of how he went about undisputed. Crawford got his respect because he went and beat the man who was undisputed in his first fight at a division. Whenever you get it, you do, at least for that point in time, separate yourself from the globe of competition in a way that is undeniable. And so it's like, that's what I don't like about the belts getting diminished. That's what I don't want Shakur to buy into with his career of the belts getting diminished. Because if the belts get diminished, it's going to be even more concerning, potentially, for big fights to happen. Because sure, everybody's saying now, and again, we got to go. We got to get out of here because we're way over our time. Crazy enough, but we got to get out of here. But with everybody saying that, we care about the fights, not the belts. And the whole drama with the WBC, with Shakur and with Terrence Crawford, which was, WBC was wrong. Absolutely, they were wrong. All this stuff has devalued the titles. All this stuff has devalued the titles, devalued the belts, and devalued the champions. All of this stuff has made people say it's the fighters that matter and not the belts that matter. However, every time we've tried to apply that sentiment, the same thing arises. The same problem comes back up. Why would I fight you when you don't have anything to offer? See what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about with Benavidez and Opetaia. That's different. If Benavidez was not with Zuffa, without a belt, Benavidez would have still fought him. That's a business where that's a Dana problem. That's a whole different situation. I'm trying to describe that as much as possible. That's a whole different situation. Because if Benavidez and Jai were on the same boat or whatever the case may be, anybody else but Zuffa, that fight would have already been agreed upon. I promise you. I promise you. But that specific situation aside, almost every other instance, when Canelo used it against Benavidez, when Terrence Crawford was blackballed by a lot of people, when the likes of, we can call it right now, Moses Talbot to some degree is being avoided by the likes of Tyson Fury and potentially by Usyk. We're seeing the same uses of reason. I'm not going to say excuse for the sake of argument. I'm just say reasoning. What do you bring to the table as to why I should fight you? Why are you trying to come up here? Get a belt first, and then we can talk. Get some gold around your waist first, and then we can have a discussion. That's what always comes up. It's the same conversation every time. So Shakur, what was the biggest problem with Shakur? He makes every fighter look bad. And he's a big name and a big star. Well, do you know why he's in the position he's in now? Because he beat T.O. and he's a reigning champion. If T.O. or if Shakur was not champ after this fight with T.O., would we see people wanting to fight him? Would we see people wanting to get him in the ring? Would we see people calling him out, saying, yeah, I want that smoke? Y'all don't forget, Mike Tyson, people didn't want to fight Mike Tyson. And that was the most exciting person in boxing. He was building up to one of the biggest threats in the division. If the champions could have said, I don't need to fight him, they would have. He just got so big so quick, he was like, oh my gosh, I have to. But if they could have avoided him, they would have. Terrence Crawford was seen as too small of a fish at times for people. You can't fight Spence unless you fight everybody else at Top Rank. Not now. The entirety of the Top Rank roster. Amir Khan, Kell Brooks, Sean Porter. Any of them. Any and all of them. Beat all of them. And then you can have the right to fight Errol Spence while keeping your belt. But if he didn't even have a belt, he would have never gotten that fight at all with Spence. You need the titles. And without them, you lose leverage. And you lose out on your opportunity to stake your claim as I'm as bad as I know I am. And you want the same thing I want. And I got something that you got to respect. Even if you think I'm too dangerous. If Shakur goes this route, I don't need the titles and whatnot. We can fall into the same situation. We may not get to see him against people. And I don't want that. I don't want this. That's why I'm saying, give us those fights now. Please. Please give us those fights now. By the way, look, we got to get out of here because we are 3 hours and 32 minutes into this stream. I did not think we were going to go this long, but I appreciate the love and support regardless of which. But we'll do a last call right now for any other questions on this show. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to do it. We about to end this stream. We about to end it. We about to get on out of here. We're going to do a last call. Last call for the championship rounds in any facet of conversation. NBA, NFL, movie, sports, television, video games, boxing, and beyond. Whatever you want to discuss. NBA playoffs, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs dominated Minnesota by like 20 last night. LeBron put a 27, 6-4 in a Lakers loss when Austin Reeves shot Austin 316 from the field against the Thunder. They play again tonight at 9:30. New York and Philly, I mean, that's just turning into, both of them series going to burn down by the time that series ends. I tell you what. Amount of animosity they got going on. So, but it's weird. Whatever you all want to discuss, we can discuss it right here. Let me see. That's exactly what happened to Inoue at 115. Roman Gonzalez didn't want nothing to do with Inoue at that time. Did you finish your jiu-jitsu content? No, I have not yet. No, that's also because I've been making my way through a couple of divisions, as well as you know, we were traveling. We've been getting ready for some other things. I've been having to take a step back from the anime appeal a little bit. Also, with this whole Benavidez, Zerto, Inoue, Nakatani thing, we were trying to get some stuff set up behind the scenes, and it was a lot of dedication to those fights. So I had to take kind of a couple weeks away from it. But I'm free now. I'm back on my grind. I'm back on my grind. So now that I'm back on my grind, ooh, buddy, we rolling now. We rolling now. I'm free now. I got myself some room. I'm back on my anime grind. Yes, sir. You gotta see posters. We gotta get some posters on the wall. We gotta get some paraphernalia. We gotta look. Now that we starting to make some cheddar, make some dough, we gotta splurge a little bit. We gotta start showing a little bit more of my personality surrounding the room. Oh shoot, no question about it. Let me see. Choco also no one at 115 wanted to fight him. Let me see. My poor Lakers don't even have a chance without Luka. Now, see. Okay, hold on. We gotta answer a lot of stuff. Hold on a minute. You a 3-division champion yet? I don't think I am. If you reference me, I mean, I've had some fights above my weight class in my day on the streets, but. Okay, let me not act up. I'm not no 3-division champion. I'm trying to be. Now, if we can conquer, maybe my 3-division champion can we beat the subscriber counts of other channels on YouTube? Maybe that's my thing. Let's get above a couple people. Let's try to see if we can beat Southpaw TV first, and then just see if we can try to beat Blue Blood Sports. And then we're going to have to show business in the Boxing Boys. That's what we're doing. Oh yeah, I'm putting y'all on notice. Yeah, I'm putting y'all on notice, baby. We coming for you. That's my 3-division. That's my 3-division championship status. If I can get there. Oh man. But let me see. My poor Lakers don't even have a chance without Luka. Now, see, here's the thing. They got it to within 4. I think in the third quarter, before Austin Reed really just started affecting this game for the worse. And I mean, look, OKC still getting away with calls they shouldn't be getting away with. They still elbowing people in the chest. They still getting away. They still getting belligerent fouls in their favor that should not be in their favor. I'm going to be clear. It's some for thee and not for me. They are playing a different brand of basketball in terms of what the rules are allowing them to do versus anybody else. I've been seeing this throughout the whole year. Yeah, it's a problem. Doggone it. But I'm going to say this. They are vulnerable. It's crazy enough to say they're vulnerable. If we were getting the same offensive output as Reeves was giving when he first returned, this would be a lot better off. Of course, we need, not we, but they need Luka. Absolutely. They need him. Without Luka, it's going to be a problem. I tell you what, it's going to be scary. But I'm going to say this. If you want to have any sort of semblance of hope, even if they lose this series, hang your hat on this. We saw LeBron play better than anybody else on the floor, including the reigning MVP, which I got to make sure we haven't announced the who's won MVP for the season, because we have been waiting to see who's going to take that reigns. But regardless of which, we'll address later. Point is, and again, we're in the championship rounds. That's why we're able to talk about this stuff. The floor is open. Again, it's the last call for anybody who wants to say anything. But If we see LeBron continue to play at this level and hype up his ability to the point that he is outplaying SGA the entirety of the segment, the entirety of the series, that would be one of the most impressive things we've ever seen any basketball player do in history. Because if he keeps averaging 27 and 6 at 41 years old against statistically one of the 5 greatest defensive teams we've ever witnessed in basketball. That is what OKC has been for the past 2 years. I don't want to hear nothing about what this buddy is. He's already, in my opinion, the greatest player I've ever seen. I'll say that. I don't care if you don't agree. I'm fine if you don't agree. I'm just saying that's where I stand. I know for a fact what I've been seeing, and this is coming from a brother who I go all the way back to before Dr. J. I've been watching Connie Hawkins. I can break down how Wilt Chamberlain game would have translated in today's bracket. I can break down why Bill Russell would still be a contender in today's sect because of his defensive prowess that he had in the early, when he played, when it was only 11 teams. You want to go George Gervin? You want to go Connie Hawkins? You want to go David Thompson? You want to go Bill Walton? You want to go John Havlicek, Bob Cousy, D. Johnson, Kevin McHale? Not just Magic, not just Kareem. We talking real basketball. Dragan Petrovic, you want to go there? I can go there. I can go there. And I'm telling you right now, in the history of this game, this is the best player I've seen. This isn't just about record. This is about the totality. I've never seen something like this. It's going to be hard for somebody to get over top of this. But for anybody who still has doubts, what we're seeing from LeBron specifically should not be possible. It should not be possible. I'm not just scoring. I'm talking about outplaying the best player in the league right now, arguably, in SGA. In a playoff situation where defense is the tightest it's ever been, it should not be possible that he is still outthinking a team that is younger, longer, supposed to be stronger, and equipped to not stop the team. This team is built to stop him. They can be physical. They can clog the paint. They can get passing lanes. They can double. They can run with them. And they can't stop him. And he's a grounded player now because he can't get above the rim like he used to. And they can't do a thing with him. This should be one of the most impressive instances of production we've seen an individual player do in the history of basketball. It should be. That's not glaze. That's not me trying to overblow it. If you know basketball, what we're seeing should not be possible. It shouldn't be. And if he keeps playing like this, no matter who wins this series, it's going to be one of the greatest feats I've ever witnessed. On par with him averaging 35, 8, and 8 against the Orlando Magic with prime Dwight Howard. On par with him averaging a triple-double against the Golden State Warriors. 35, 10, and 10 against Golden State when they lost, I believe, in 18 or 17. On par with his 45-point performance in the Garden against Boston. On par with his 25-point straight performance that he put up against Detroit. It's going to be like that. If he doesn't, it's going to be insane. And beyond just that, Victor Wembanyama against the likes of Timberwolves. On a bad game, we saw Victor Wembanyama put up 12, 19, and 12. 12 points, 19 rebounds, 12 blocks. He's broken the playoff record for blocks already. And he had about the same amount of blocks this last game. 19. What was it? It was like 19, 18, and 12 again in this game when he blew him out by 30. If we do see OKC and the Spurs go against each other, a diminished offensive Wemby, who, crazy enough, Rudy Gobert, we give respect where respect is due. You're actually doing a good job guarding him. But we're still seeing they can't do anything with him. And it's because of his defensive impact. And that is why I was saying at the start of the real talks of MVP seasons, the real talks of conversation when it came to basketball, he's not averaging 28, 10, and 10 like Jokic. He's not putting up 32, 33 like with SGA. But his offense is not the greatest aspect of his game. But his defense is so dominant It is as dominant as I've been seeing some of the greatest offensive players in history. Like with James Harden. Like with KD. Yeah. Like with Steph Curry. It's that far on the other side of affecting the game that this man can put up 12 and put you in a dogfight because you can't score. He's that on both sides of the ball. He's that transcendent. That's why I was saying if he wins MVP this season, I'm not going to be mad. Because he would say, it'll be hard pressed if we say he wouldn't deserve it. But if he does play against OKC and they get out of this Minnesota Timberwolves team and beat him in 5, like I think they're gonna, especially with Ant being a little bit hobbled. Mark my words, they can beat him. And if they beat OKC, they win in the chip. I guarantee you, they win in the chip. They win in the chip. Mark my words, they are winning the chip. Let me see. Do you like anime with magic? Got a show which is interesting. Which had out here, I think it's called Good Animation, interesting show for magic. Oh yeah, no, I like magic. I like fantasy. I be like fighting, magic, fantasy, and sci-fi. I think my 4 top shows that I like of that set. So I was watching Shield Hero. I like a bunch of isekai. Really like some isekai anime. I had finished Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho, one of my favorite shows ever. That had magic, martial arts. That had mystery. It had it all. Loved that. Hunter x Hunter. Loved that. That wasn't really magic. That was more so kind of power dynamic level anime. Still great storytelling. I like them all. Honestly, I don't really have a preference for one or the other. The only thing I can't do is horror. That's the only thing I can't do. The only thing I can't do is horror. And what's the other one? I forget. There's 2 genres I just can't do. I forget the name of the second one, but the first one, horror. I can't do that. I can't do scary. I can do mystery. I can do thriller. I'm perfectly fine with it. But like horror, like real horror, I can't. I gotta really. That story's gotta draw me in for me to do that. But no. But which hat? I'll look it up. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll make some time to kind of put it on my list of shows thus far. But no, I ain't got no problem with it. I love it. Because see, anime is such a broad scope of storytelling. It really is. They got some tropes, absolutely. You see stuff, some things reoccurring and whatnot, but on the whole, like animation, when the storytelling is good, it's really good. Visuals are incredible. The pacing, when it's good, it'll make you go through 3 seasons in the night. You'll forget it's 8 o'clock in the morning by the time you're done, which has happened to me multiple times. So I love it. I just love it. I really do. I love all of it. And so you give me something, I'm all for checking it out to see what it's about. No question about it. But before we continue, this will add another hour to the show. We have to leave so I can be sure I can give you some content for tomorrow. We don't want to give too much as to what goes on, or we don't want to give away too much of this show. We got to leave some stuff. We got to leave some chips on the table for tomorrow afternoon because we got to go and end off this show. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world, we got to wrap this show up, send it home, and get it on out of here. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we going to get on out of here. No, wrong button. Wait a minute. Hold on. No, that ain't either. Hold on a minute. There we go. This has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch, and we appreciate all of you tuning in on our live stream today. We thank you for all the support and all the love. Hopefully, you enjoyed this show, and we hope that we made your day a little bit brighter, a little bit better, and we kept the entertainment flowing with our show on this Thursday afternoon. Please, before you leave a like on the video before you get on out of here. It helps this channel out immensely. If you like this stream before you leave, keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions on what you liked or didn't like about this show. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Come on and join the empire. If you haven't already, be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also, be sure to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. And please be sure to share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together and growing as an army of a community. And we appreciate all of you who gave and supported to our channel for today. The most active users today, number 1 was Mr. Miyagi. Congratulations to you. Number 2 was who was it? Kingdom Within. Number 3 was Matt Borges, and number 4 was Amin Rhoda, and number 5 for the pound for pound top 5 chatters on today's episode was indeed Peel Out. Congratulations to you all, and we're gonna see, Mr. Miyagi, if you can keep your top spot on stream on tomorrow's show, when it's a championship rounds with action, fervor, fun, and excitement, and more talk about the sports world and beyond, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. We can't wait to see you there. And again, one more time, so it's shameless plug, if you can support the channel, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super chats, super gifts, stickers, and the like. If you can support the show, it would mean the world to me. Thank you to all of you who gave and donated to our show, like with Mr. Miyagi, like with Matt Borgerson, like with I think somebody else. I want to make sure I give it, and Kingdom Within. All of you who gave monetarily, we appreciate it oh so much. And you all, again, are helping to make this show bigger, better, and stronger, and keeping us on the airways, essentially, because we're funded by people like you, and we appreciate the support, and we don't take it for granted. No question about it. But hey, we got to get out of here, and we got to go and get ready for tomorrow afternoon. So I have been Jean-Luc Welch, and you all have been absolutely wonderful. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. Salute to you. We're going to catch you all next time. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace and love. And we out of here. Can't wait to see you all on Friday. Same time, same place, same channel, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.